Hi, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for joining us on the spaces. My name is Betty Kankambuedu. Um, I'll be attempting to moderate this with King Kweku Mensah. So I'm just here to do a quick introduction and then we'll hand over to King to take us through some of the things we'd like to talk about. And at some point, we'll open up the microphone so that we can also hear your thoughts about what we're going to talk about. So, you know, clearly from from the title of the space, it needs. We don't have to talk much, but I guess this is the biggest story of today, all right? Yes. So I am not Yvonne Nelson. That is the book from our own actress, Yvonne Nelson. And it is about her life and her life experiences. But what has got people talking is something she said in there about an abortion she had and who impregnated her. So she dropped a big name, and that's got people on social media and really everywhere else talking about that. So we just wanted to have a quick conversation about that as well. Pick your thoughts on it. Do you think Yvonne Nelson was in her right to put that information in her book? Could there be some legal ramifications? Yes, there are some who argue that it is her experience and she has the right to tell her story. But there are those who also argue that yes, you may have the right to tell your story, but if you're dropping big names in your book, maybe did she have to disclose it? That those are conversations that we're going to have this evening. So I'm going to hand over to King to continue with the rest. We'll be having a lawyer to talk about the legal implications, as I mentioned earlier, and then again we'll open up the microphone for you to also join with your thoughts. And there are other parts of of the book that we may want to talk about, especially how she felt after having the abortion. So we could, I don't know if we have the time, we could do that today or subsequently. We could do that. I don't know, maybe tomorrow or something like that. But I think that's equally a big conversation. How she felt. There are those who are dismissing her feelings online, and there are those who are like, what were you thinking? But I think that the issue of an abortion is a bigger issue that we can't talk about. So in the meantime, I'll just hand over to King, and then he can take it away. So, some of the names who are on the spaces, just give some quick shout out. We have Devil. We have Devil. We have Elikem is a speaker, and then we have is it official? What's the full official general? Will also be joining the conversation as well. And you guys can come in when you feel like chipping in anything. Your microphones will be open. But I think before you guys come in, maybe we can give King the opportunity to kind of open up the conversation, and then all of us can come in later on.
Right, guys. Thank you so much once again for joining our Twitter space. Yes, Betty is not going anywhere. Betty's staying with us throughout the space. Yay. Yes. So, guys, I'm sure you heard the news. Yesterday, our sister, actress entrepreneur Yvonne Nelson, launched her book, I Am Not Yvonne Nelson. And excerpts of the book went viral this morning. The excerpt being chapter 8, where she spoke about her story or her encounter with abortion and mentioned some names. But the 26th chapter book, yeah, the 26th chapter book spoke a lot outside abortion alone. It it talks about the whole story of, did I say 26? Make it 24. So it's a 24 chapter book, I beg to say. It talks about the whole life of Yvonne Nelson, everything. But the chapter 8 sort of has sparked the conversation on Twitter because it has a very big person, a very big personality's name mentioned in there. Let me read an excerpt Manasseh Azuri wrote. He wrote the foreword for this book. So the last paragraph for the foreword reads, "This is a book that is bound to ruffle feathers and ignite wild debates." And it is true to it has started that on social media. You guys are aware. But those who read it objectively and without judgmental binoculars will see the story of a young woman, fallible like other mortals, like you and I listening to these spaces right now, who is determined to leave a mark despite internal and external forces that have erected high hurdles in her way. So today, what we are talking about is Yvonne Nelson's book, I Am Not Yvonne Nelson. The title of the book has an answer in the book. So there is an excerpt or there is a chapter dedicated to why she titled the book, I Am Not Yvonne Nelson. We've known, or for by far, all those who follow the Ghana movie industry or the Ghana entertainment space have known Yvonne Nelson to be called Yvonne Nelson. But there is a chapter dedicated to why she thinks she is not Yvonne Nelson, or why she is not Yvonne Nelson, but another individual. She's supposed to be known as another individual. When you guys buy the book and you read it, you'll find out why. But today we're talking about Yvonne Nelson versus Sarkodie. Let's just go straight to the point. Let's just go straight to the point. Sheena Faculty, you're Shia, your speaker now. Well, I'll let you speak on what you think okay, you ran away, no problem. So guys, we'll open your microphones to for you to share your opinion when you first saw the headlines going viral. Sarkodie impregnated me and refused responsibility, or did not take responsibility for the whole pregnancy. When you saw the headline going viral on social media, when you saw the headline, let me start in-house though. When you saw the headline going viral on social media, Betty, how did you take the news?
Well, I mean, it was a shocker. I mean, well, initially, you know, I think some of the headlines I saw it, they didn't mention Sarkodie's name,
Mm.
and then later on, I had to dig. I really went on a digging spree on the internet, and then I found out that she explicitly mentions Sarkodie's name,
Mm-hmm.
and um, it shocked me, not because I'm thinking Sarkodie isn't capable of doing that. I don't know Sarkodie from anywhere. Again, he's a guy. He's had his life in the past, and you can tell they were young. Not to excuse whatever it is that they did or whatever it is, but they were young people. But the shocker was, did she go there? Did
Mm-hmm.
she go all the way? Did she go? And honestly, that actually made me want to get the book to read.
Mm.
So, in as much as it is her personal story that she's telling, when you look at the excerpts I've seen on the internet, you realize that it's not a happy story. It's not. She's not saying this to. I don't think she's chasing clout.
You don't think
I
so?
don't think so. You can tell she's sharing her story, but again, the shocker is, oh, she went all the way, and yeah, that took me out for a moment.
Right, right. Let's invite others to speak to the whole issue. We have Kojo Kardashian. That's interesting. Kojo Kardashian, your mic is active now. When you saw the headlines on Twitter, I know you're on Twitter. When you saw the headlines on Twitter, how did you react to it? Kojo, you can unmute yourself and speak to us. Ghana is listening to you. Kojo. All right. If
Hello, hello,
Kojo
hello,
connection is not,
hello.
yeah. Okay, you can hear us now.
Uh,
Okay, great.
yeah, for me,
So
it
yes.
was a
Mm-hmm.
shock. I've
Mm.
been someone like I've like loved Yvonne from far. I've never met her before in person, but I've loved her and like wanted to meet her one day and all that. But like getting to know this side of her is something I've never heard before. So it was a very big shock to me personally. And
Mm-hmm.
I want to get the book. We want more outlet. Currently, I'm in school in a Kropon Presbyterian College of Education, and I want to get the book. And I learned this afternoon the book is available at University of Ghana campus. We want to get the book maybe closer to us, the price and all that. Like, we want to get more information on that. So yeah, that's all that I
Right.
can say right now.
Okay, Abdul Wadud, I'm making you a speaker also. But guys, let me read the excerpt where Sarkodie's name was mentioned. So it says, I had gone for a pregnancy test to confirm who becomes the most obvious, of what becomes the most obvious conclusion of a sexually active young woman who misses her monthly flow. I was in the company of Karen, and when the test results was ready, I wasn't strong enough to open it. So she did and declared the verdict. Charlie, it's D-Day, she exclaimed. So on an ordinary day, I would have laughed out, and that would trigger a string of jolly conversations and joke. But this was no laughing manner or laughing matter. It was a grim piece of information that was capable of turning my world upside down. It wasn't the only responsible. Okay, sorry, I wasn't the only one responsible for the situation. So I called. Listen to this. Listen to this guy. I wasn't the only one responsible for the situation. So I called the man whose potent seed had germinated in me. His name is Michael Owusu Ado, a renowned Ghanaian musician who is better known as Sarkodie. So this is where Sarkodie's name was mentioned, Betty.
But
Mm.
Yeah,
I have a question. So maybe some of the
Abdul.
speakers,
Hmm.
Abdul, you can chime in after my question. After reading this,
Hmm.
did did it change your opinion about Sarkodie? I know the first speaker said that who was that?
That
Was that
was
something?
Kojo.
Kojo said that he's known Yvonne Nelson for a while. He's followed her for a while, but this was a shocker. But I'm wondering, when you read this, did it change your opinion about Sarkodie? It'll be interesting to know what the women say, what the men say on this
yeah.
space. Like, did it change your
Let me
opinion
come in here.
of Sarkodie?
Let me come in here with Yvonne. I think Yvonne has been someone who is not like sharing her secrets on online and all that. So for me,
Hmm.
something like this coming from her like is a big shock to me, and I wasn't expecting it and all that. But there's some truth to it. Yvonne can't just come out and say something like this to a follow like public figure like this.
Mm. That's what Kojo thinks. Kojo
Maybe
thinks
something like
Yvonne says
you
it and
can't
it is
joke
true.
But
Like
but
it is.
Kojo,
It is
Kojo, did it
nothing
change
like
your
it.
opinion
about
of
Yvonne.
Sarkodie though?
About
No, about
Sarkodie. No,
Sarkodie.
Sarkodie.
because it's normal. A lot of guys here, we've done worse things. It's
I
because
said it.
Sarkodie
Mm.
is a celebrity. That's why we are talking about. But a lot of us here have done committed maybe two abortions or three or even more with maybe girlfriends in the past. But we are here talking about Sarkodie because he's Sarkodie. We are here talking about Yvonne
Right.
because it's Yvonne.
Mm.
So we should like that's for me. I think it's not changing anything. They are all humans, and it's life worth living. Like people are living their own life, making their own mistakes. And Yvonne said she regrets like doing that. So
Yes,
there's
she
no
did say that.
I'm not having any change of mind about them, but they're all humans before everything. So I still love
Abdul.
Yvonne. I still love Sarkodie.
Okay, I have this question for Abdul. So if you can
Okay.
unmute your mic and then answer this question. If you were in Sarkodie's shoes, how would you feel about this?
Hello, good evening to everyone. For me, if I was in Sarkodie's shoes, I would be disappointed. The reason being that since we've had an encounter and you are willing or you are ready to publish a book about yourself, at least you should give me a heads up. So, seeing the story, for me, it was a shocker in the beginning. But later, I realized that, oh, we are all humans and we make mistakes. And also, in telling your story, usually there are other people also involved in your story. So you don't go around mentioning people's name when telling your story. You can tell your story by not mentioning other people's name, and your story will still be valid. So for me, I was disappointed in Yvonne by dropping Sarkodie's name, but I wasn't surprised.
Hmm. Anyone else who wants to tell us about how, first of all, they feel about this whole situation in terms of, Yvonne Nelson divulging this, and if you were in Sarkodie's shoes, how would you have taken this news? Um,
So
Elton or
Elton is a speaker. Elton, can you unmute your microphone and share your opinions with us right now? Elton.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I wanted to come in. Is that okay? Can I come in now?
Elton, we are listening to you. Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. So for me, I think this is interesting for the industry because for some time now, the movie industry has not been quite, active like that. So it's a good story to pick up. Yvonne is doing well. He has bought a book. I am not Yvonne Nelson. Blah 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 blah. He has mentioned names. However, this thing happened in 2010. You've been able to keep quiet, and then you feel that now probably you are where you want to be, and then you want people to know about what you have gone through. I don't know the kind of motivation that drove her to write that, but you have mentioned people's name. How concerned are you about their situation at the moment? We all make mistakes. We all learn from our mistakes. However, if we are going to talk about sensitive things like that, I think that other parties who are involved should be, like you should give them heads up. This is what is happening. Okay, what will happen if like the story would have still be the same if Sarkodie's name was not mentioned? It would have
You
still be
think
the
so?
same. You get it. The abortion factor would have still be there. So probably you are up to something. For you to come out, mention the guy's full name, and even Charlie, you're up to something. Besides, um, we have known Yvonne Nelson with rolling with John Jammeh,
Uh-huh.
Inyanya, and a whole lot
So
of people.
Elton,
Yeah,
have you read the book?
I haven't. I am going to get a copy
Okay,
today.
so you
I
should
am
you
going to
should
get a
get
copy
you
today.
should get a copy of the book, and you realize, or when you get a copy of the book,
Mm-hmm.
you realize that Yvonne Nelson detailed everything about her life. So the part about the abortion, she's telling her story, and she feels when she mentions the people she has had something like this to done something like this with would help.
I don't think it's a matter of it helping or otherwise. She's telling her story.
Yes, someone will say
She
to
can't.
heal. So she's
Yeah, and
doing
she
that
can't
to heal.
help. She can't
But
help
wait,
that it
wait,
was
wait,
Sarkodie she dated.
Mhm.
wait.
It was Sarkodie, and don't forget at that time she says that Sarkodie, 10 years ago, Sarkodie was Sarkodie,
Yeah, no, no, not
or
really.
10 years ago.
Sarkodie was now sack.
Okay, Sarkodie was
Coming up,
spudding. Okay,
coming up to be
so
Sarkodie.
Sarkodie was coming up to be
Uh-huh.
Sarkodie.
Uh-huh.
But for me, I think that maybe we can let me hold a little brief for Yvonne.
Mm-hmm.
She was telling her story. I'm sure if it was King
Mm-hmm.
who had that relationship with Yvonne, King's name would have come in.
Mm.
She can't help that it was Sarkodie.
Mm-hmm.
So I really don't think, and like Kim said, she detailed a lot about her life. Talks about, I think,
There
her
is a whole
father,
there is a whole
who her
chapter
father.
dedicated to Inyanya. There's a whole chapter dedicated to Nigerian and their
Yes,
powerful men.
yes, and
Yeah.
she even talks about the relationship with her mother. concerning her father, the issues surrounding that. So it was her story to tell, and she just couldn't help the fact that it was Sarkodie that was involved. So I don't know. I'm just holding brief for her. That's just what I'm saying.
So we're trying to get our lawyers on the Twitter space, so we talk about the legal side, because Elton, you mentioned that wasn't necessary for Yvonne to mention Sarkodie's name in her book, or did she ask permission? We cannot confirm if Yvonne indeed asked Sarkodie permission to do that. And even if she did, there is a school of thought on Twitter that is saying that Sarkodie is a married man now. I mean, what happened 13 years ago in 2010 should stay in 2010, because Sarkodie has 2 kids and a loving wife. Did Yvonne think about the kind of issues is going to crop up in between Tracy and Sarkodie and all that? So there is a whole there is a whole part of Twitter talking about that, discussing that. But let me bring the commentator in this conversation. The commentator, your mic is active right now. But tell us your candid opinion on this. Do not mince words. By the way, Albert Nati Bongo, Nat Hyde, Bongo Ideas, we see you. We will allow you very soon, so you share your opinion. Very soon, yeah, my brother. Hold on for us. Anyway, so the commentator, your mic is
Yeah,
active.
sure. Good evening, everyone.
Even
Yeah, it's been a very hectic day on this Twitter app, but yeah. So I think I was in class when I decided to go on Twitter to see, normal, what's checking, what's trending, and all that. And I saw blogs posting about this, but my mind actually didn't come to it that, I remember yesterday, Manasseh made a post about Yvonne Nelson's book launch at PDRC, but my mind was not actually on this whole issue. And on the other hand, too, because of how misinformation happens on this Twitter and social media in general, you are careful of the kind of news you consume. But then I saw, I think 3FM or 3 Extra, one of them posted, and I was like, then it means this is very legit. So then I went to check, and oh my god. But yes, seeing this have not actually made me change my mind or how I see Yvonne Nelson and Sarkodie. I think it's in the past. This is like 13 years ago, and we have to move on. She has now decided to bring it out because maybe she has now gotten over everything and she wants to put it out to inspire someone. But I don't actually think it's a problem now. And when we look, I've tried to get some excerpts from the book, and where she was making reference to some Nigerian men, some powerful Nigerian politician, and all that. I think, for me, so this is personal. For me, I think she made Sarkodie aware of this whole thing because when we look at where she was talking about the Nigerian politician, the big Nigerian politicians, she didn't actually mention anyone's name except for the actresses that were her friends and all that. So I think she was being careful, and she actually solicited for permission from Sarkodie. And I think because it passed now, everybody's cool with it. That's why she has gone ahead. But then again, this is just my personal thoughts. I don't know, maybe until the
Okay.
lawyers come and tell us what the kind of implications this can have on everything. So yes, it's a good book. I'm trying to read, even though it's quite lumpy, but yeah, I think we just have to we have to keep up with the trends, and yeah, interesting revelations. But yes, then again, I feel this is also going to open the doors for more things that will be reviewed by our industry players in the coming years. I think this is actually going to open doors. Yeah.
Right. Guys, let me remind you that we have over 2,000 people listening to the space right now. Still share the link like Alpha Hour. Share the link. And let people listen. Let people listen. Share the link. Share the link. Anyway, Asio, Asio, let me invite you to the conversation. Do you think Yvonne's book right now kind of open a kind of worm, and should other entertainers toe her line in telling their story?
Yeah, good afternoon to everyone on the space. very excited to be given the opportunity to speak my mind on this issue. Actually, I think what Yvonne is doing, whoever advised her to write this book, publish it, include these people, I think for commercial reasons, I think she's doing very well because it has gotten attention. I don't know when was the last time anyone launched a book in Ghana and had this level of attention. I can't quite remember. So for me, I think the book is doing well. As to whether she's right to have included Sarkodie or not, me, I would say yes. Number one, if she's chasing clouds, is she making money out of it? Yes, I believe she's making a lot of money out of it. Come to think about the other side, that he's supposed to have informed Sarkodie about the content. For now, me, you and I don't know. Whatever is in the public domain is what she wrote in the book, and that's what we are discussing. For all you know, she has informed Sarkodie that, oh, I'm going to say this and this about Sarkodie might not agree, but for her, she's telling her story, and her story is incomplete without this particular issue. It's, let's not forget that this is an issue of you killing a baby in the name of somebody that you felt maybe at a point that she felt Sarkodie loved her. So for me, Sarkodie should rather be apologizing instead of the reverse that we are talking about, that he's not considering Sarkodie as married. Now today Sarkodie is successfully married with 2 kids. Yvonne is not married. What is Sarkodie doing about that? So stop crying for Sarkodie. Stop crying for Sarkodie. Let's cry for the lady too. So she's got to be who she is. She's got to do what she's got to do to get this issue out. For Sarkodie is not the only whose name is mentioned. You get me?
Right, but you know, Sarkodie is Ghanaian, and that's what drove the whole conversation right now, and that's what's trending on Twitter. That's what a lot of people are talking about.
Jacqueline.
Yeah, Jacqueline. Jacqueline is a speaker right now. I know Jacqueline is 100% opinionated. Jacqueline does.
But Jacqueline, I have a question. Before you
Yeah,
go into your submission, I have a question. The last speaker said that he thinks Sarkodie
Sarkodie
should
should
apologize.
apologize.
Do you think Sarkodie should apologize? For what?
For what? That's
For
the
what?
question. That's the question I was about to ask him. What should he
Okay, can
apologize for?
I give you for hot?
Okay.
Can I explain them for hot?
Yeah, explain
Give
yourself.
us the for what.
Okay, you are a lady. This somebody who has had a private affair with you. Fine, we know that is your
That is
private.
between Yvonne and Sarkodie. Please don't make
Yes.
reference to me being a lady. It is not my case. It is not my scenario.
Okay, so this is something that happened. Somebody has moved on. He's gone to marry. He's done whatever it is, and Yvonne is still a single mother. You get me? And this is
If
something that is.
honey, if Yvonne is not making a big deal out of it, we shouldn't make a big deal out of it. What she wanted to say is what she has said. She has not said
You
he's
think Sarkodie's name in the book is not a big deal? It's a big deal for her. So consider her too.
let me tell you why she put Sarkodie's name. Let me read what she wrote in her intro to the book. She said, in telling my story, I have made the hard decision not to sanitize it. I have told it in its raw form, knowing my society and the high moral standards by which its women are measured. It is like taking an insurable risk in an already perilous endeavor. However, I want whoever looks up to me. This is her reason for naming people and sharing her story, not anybody. However, I want whoever looks up to me to see the whole package. I have had my low and high moments. I have done things I am proud of and things I am not. I would have never openly talked about this until I decided to write this book. This is her reason. She is sharing her story so that those that look up to her, that think she has life all figured out, all okay, all happy, know that she had gone through all of these challenges, persevered through all of these challenges, build up a production house, produce movie, owns an island, is raising a child, and is doing well for herself despite all of the things she went through. So it is not about Sarkodie. It is not about Inyanya. It is not about the politicians. It is about her experience, what she has learned out of it, and what she wants others to pick out of it. in their
Okay,
journey in.
eloquently delivered. So I'm saying that why? So why are people saying that you shouldn't include Sarkodie?
No, so
He started the
I'm not
story in
of
the
that
raw state.
opinion. I am not arguing with you on that. I have a problem with people that are saying that. That is why I requested. I was only speaking because when they asked you your question, your responses was, "I am a woman," and I'm telling you, I am my woman. I am not Yvonne Nelson's woman. So if you are done with that, I would like to address people. I would like to address people that have an issue with why
Okay, okay. So let me
Sarkodie's
state
name
let me
is
state
in
my
there.
position here. For me, Yvonne Nelson hasn't done anything wrong. She has just stated. She has just told a story in the raw form as she wants it to be told, and we just have to take it like that. If Sarkodie has an issue with it, if Sarkodie has an issue with it, his legal advisors can advise him. But for me, I believe the lady has done what she thinks she has to do. If Sarkodie
Yeah,
feels he's not involved, we should prove it.
yeah,
Simple.
yeah, yeah. Jacqueline, I have
Yeah,
another question for you.
so
And I don't know if we have other ladies who have requested the mic, but Jacqueline, you can go at this. So the when you read the book, at least the excerpts that are out there, we all need to find the whole book and read and probably have a book club and discuss it. But the way she describes how she felt after the abortion,
mm-hmm,
there are those online who are downplaying this feeling,
mm-hmm,
and I feel like it's such an important conversation
mm-hmm,
that we should have. And the way she describes it, I doubt if I don't know, we don't know. I don't know if she communicated it to Sarkodie, or I don't
yeah,
know,
yeah,
but I wonder. I don't think that men get men get that part. Like, people don't get that part because there are those online saying, "Oh, and so what? Like, you made the choice, and now you are saying
mm.
how you felt." Da 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 da.
Mm.
I'd like to know your comments on that.
Okay, great. So I think for me that even stems on why I have an issue with people saying, why did she mention Sarkodie? Because the whole essence of her talking about that experience was to explain exactly how she felt having to go through that process alone, and how that was traumatizing for her, and whoever she had done it with was not there to support her. So this is what I had gone through. This is how traumatizing it was. Even we found tweets from her saying last year that women should not get an abortion, it is not right, and she was going to share the story as and when she wanted to. She could have name dropped Sarkodie and said, back then I did this with Sarkodie, and this is why I said nobody should do an abortion. But she knew what she had planned in terms of telling her full story and not just sharing one aspect of. If one wanted to chase clout with Sarkodie's name, she can easily pick up her phone and tweet and say, "Happy Father's Day to the child we aborted 10 or 15 years ago, Sarkodie." If she
Mm.
wanted to chase clout, she could have easily done that. But that was not what she wanted to do. She is sharing her story, and that aspect of her life is in that story. So people downplaying that trauma that she went through is just so sad that a woman is telling you that she went through these things, she came out of it, she was so traumatized by it that even if she gets pregnant unwantedly, she would have birth at all costs. And that even when she was going to hospitals and she had to take when she was going to see a gyna and she was taking that I've had an abortion, and the whole world or those in that environment know Yvonne Nelson, the celebrity, and know that she has had an abortion. Probably they just couldn't share it because it is against their legal practice.
You know, let me chip in this. Jacqueline, and the other ladies on the platform. Maybe some of the men will get it. I think that it appears, that's why I like that bit, how she told us about how she felt, because it appears that women who decide to have an abortion, not that I'm promoting abortion, but women who have had it, their experience most of the time is, I had to deal with the consequences alone. I had to deal with the aftermath of it alone. Some even say I had to go to the hospital to do it alone. And those who do it at home, they always do it alone. And I think that for me, when I read the her feelings after the abortion, I just it rang true, because I've heard so many women say that. I've heard so many women detail that it's always lonely after doing that, because most of the time the men are nowhere to be found. Either, again, maybe in Sarkodie's case, like Yvonne is saying, either they decided not to take responsibility for the baby, or there are some men who actually encourage the women to do it as well. But either way, it's just such a lonely thing that she describes that I feel is very, very, like, it's poignant to at least say that.
I agree completely. And Nana Kwame wanted to speak. Maybe Nana Kwame would want to go.
Okay, thank you for having me on the show. So, I haven't got a book myself, but my question is: did Sarkodie ask her to go abort the baby? Was that in the book? I mean, and I mean, how old were they when all this has happened? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you, Nana.
Okay, so yeah, so my question is that I mean, did Sarkodie ask her to go abort the baby, and what was that conversation, and how old were they when this thing happened, and what if Sarkodie was not a celebrity? Would this have any be an issue? Like
Okay,
how?
Kwame. How long has Sarkodie been a celebrity? This happened in 2010. Sarkodie has been a celebrity, let's say, when he got his peak in like the last 5, 6, 7 years. He's been a celebrity all along. If she wanted to bring it out, it would come out. To your question of did they have the conversation? In the book, she said Sarkodie drove her to the clinic. So it wasn't done behind Sarkodie or without his knowledge.
Send me a link. I'll buy the book. Can I buy it online?
Yes, it's on Amazon.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
Please,
I'll get it
can
myself
I
and
add
read it.
to it?
Yes,
I'm sorry.
yes.
I want to add to it. I think Sarkodie said he wasn't ready, and indirectly, once someone says he's not ready, the next thing is that you should abort it. It doesn't need to be expressly stated, but he said he wasn't ready.
Agreed. Chrissy, please,
But
you want to speak? You can go ahead.
Hi, good evening. What I want to contribute to this saga is what Yvonne Nelson wrote in her book. According to her, she expressed why Sarkodie wasn't ready. One, Sarkodie was dating someone already. Sarkodie was living with his mom. Sarkodie didn't have a future. According to her, the success wasn't clear. So, for a lady seeing someone in that position, to herself, I think she made a decision to abort. It wasn't even about Sarkodie telling her to go and abort. And by the way, abortion is the decision of the lady. It's not the decision of the guy. So whether Sarkodie asked her to abort, whether Sarkodie asked her to give birth, she still have the final decision to make, whether to keep the baby or to abort. And she decided to abort it. The place Sarkodie had it wrong for me is not checking up on her afterwards. That's the only fault Sarkodie did in this case. That what she went through, whether Sarkodie checked up on her or not, she will still go through it. So for me, those things are not something that Sarkodie did. At the end of the day, this is the story of Yvonne Nelson. This is what she wants people to know from a point of view. Abortion belongs to the lady, her body, her choice. Whatever she decides to do with the baby is her choice. So for me, the only thing Sarkodie we can force Sarkodie for is not checking up on her. And she expressly gave reasons why Sarkodie wasn't ready at the time. I think around 2010, 2011, I was in school, like Sarkodie's manager was doing a service at my school at that time. Yvonne used to come there. For us, we thought he was dating Yvonne at the time. We didn't know it was between Sarkodie and her at the time. So for me, this one brings into like a lot of questions have been answered for some of us that saw the process. And at that time, Sarkodie had a girlfriend. So it is still like they messed up. They've grown. It's her story. She's telling it her way. And someone asked whether Sarkodie can sue. Sarkodie can only sue if what she's saying is a lie. And I doubt whatever Yvonne is saying is a lie. And you can't sue somebody for speaking the truth. Truth is like a good defense. So you can't sue her for speaking her truth. At the end of the day, Sarkodie can have her own truth, but I think both truth can exist, and how she saw it from her point of view is what she has placed in the book. She's written about, and we can't fault her. We can only talk at this point. And for me, the people who are saying why is she talking now? Why you can't gag someone for expressing their point, like
At their own pace.
Guys, right. So that was Kwasi speaking.
Yeah.
So Kwasi has said a lot.
Yeah, and I wanted to just
Mm-hmm.
add on to what he said. I don't think that Yvonne did this with any malicious
No,
intent.
no, not at all.
You can clearly tell that she's just being vulnerable. She's telling her story, and for me, I think it ends there. That's just my
Host,
thoughts about it. I don't think she has any
host,
malicious intent.
host.
So let's take
No,
out the whole perception that Yvonne Nelson wrote I am not Yvonne Nelson to
hello,
dent the images of some famous personalities. No, she's telling
hello.
her story. Kwasi, we can hear you. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you guys.
Yeah, Kwasi, we can hear you.
No,
Let
Kwesi is
we,
off. Akwesi wanted to speak as well. Akwesi Albert was next in line before Elton.
we want to take the opinions of more ladies. It's Kiki. Kiki, your mic is active. You've been made a speaker. I want to hear from you as well. Do you think we'll come to the men, but do you think abortion is a topic that men kind of play with? They don't really take serious because they are not the people experiencing whatever that the ladies go through.
Um, Good evening, everybody. Well, I think when it comes to the topic of abortion, men treat it like a normal thing. They treat it as if it's a norm. They treat it as something that is not as deadly as it sounds. Like abortion is something that everybody thinks, oh, if you get pregnant and you don't want it, I don't want to father this child. And so if you don't abort it, I'm not going to, take responsibilities. You are on your own. That is how sometimes most men make women feel. And at the end of the day, they do not, they push their women into having abortions. But the reason for which I requested to speak is to speak to the fact that everybody has the way they deal with their own trauma. You do not dictate to somebody how they should take their issues, things that happened in their lives. Probably this is the final stage of Yvonne Nelson trying to heal from whatever has happened in her past. This is maybe the final stage of her healing process. You don't know. And to say that Sarkodie shouldn't be mentioned, I think it is not a thing we should even be talking about in the first place, because Yvonne Nelson also was a part of that story that she is talking about. She is not completely talking about something that Sarkodie did to someone else that she wasn't involved in. So at this point, if Yvonne decides to say that, okay, Sarkodie, I did this with this person, supposing it was just a mere human, like somebody we don't know, not a celebrity, that was mentioned, it wouldn't have been a topic for discussion. But just because
Right.
of the fact that it is Sarkodie, that is why people think she's doing it for the sake of, you know, like maybe she wants to get something. I don't know. I don't think it's with a malicious intent that she's doing that. But I feel that probably it is her way of completely healing from the traumatic experience she had in her youthful ages. So that is what I have to say.
Okay, Nana Kwame, it seems you have something to say about what uh, Kiki was saying.
yeah, I do.
Mm.
So even though she doesn't have no malicious intent of mentioning his name in a book, his
I think
his
everyone
his
is
his.
muted. Or
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Nana Kwame.
Okay. So I'm saying even though the book Yvonne is it doesn't have any malicious intent of mentioning Sarkodie's name. His reputation is on the line, regardless. I mean, do you guys see? I mean, see the point.
We do.
Yeah, we get what you're saying.
I wanted to respond to Nana Kwame. So the person that wrote the forward for the book, which is Manasseh Azuri, is an investigative journalist, and I don't think Manasseh would not. That's my point of view. Would not advise that Yvonne, especially those that she name drops, get their consent or at least give them a heads up that this is what I'm releasing. This is my story. You are part of my life. This happened, and I'm going to name drop you in your book. For the people that think he has no idea and then she just name dropped him for clout or anything, I don't think that happened. He should have most likely been given a heads up. But at the end of the day, whose story is it? It's Yvonne's story to share, not Sarkodie's story. That's what I
Right.
think.
I mean, right. It could be. I mean, it could be true. I mean, it's possible that it's true, but I mean, somebody's life is on the line, and
Her life
yeah.
was also on the line years ago, but she's not made a big deal out of it since then.
Right, guys. So as we're discussing this, I would like to urge all of you listening, go to Amazon, get the soft copy of I Am Not Yvonne Nelson to read. So you get everything part, you get everything in whole. You get it. What we are discussing are just excerpts of the book. Now, to those who are doubting if indeed Sarkodie was responsible for the pregnancy and did Yvonne involve Sarkodie when she was going to terminate the pregnancy, let me read a part of the chapter 8. She said, keeping the pregnancy was not an option. This is from Yvonne. Undertaking another self medication was also not an option. So she earlier quoted that a friend of hers introduced a concoction to her, which did not work because when she went for another test, the baby was growing strong. Mind you, it was a potent seed, as she quoted. So she goes on to say, I agreed with Sarkodie, meaning she had a conversation with Sarkodie before going to the hospital. I agreed with Sarkodie that this time we had to do it in a hospital or health facility. Again, that friend of mine had a recommendation. It was a facility at Mamprobi, and on the appointed day, Sarkodie drove me there with his manager, and they left. So, guys, it's not as if Sarkodie was not aware that Yvonne was pregnant. He was. So those making comments that Yvonne had to take decisions on her own and did things on her own and all that, no, that is not true. Miss Jijo, you've been requesting to speak for a while now. Miss Jijo, let me take your opinion. Unmute your
Yeah,
microphone and tell us what's on your mind.
yeah. Hello, everyone. Um,
Did
it's
I just
Mr.
say
Gijo.
Miss Jijo? It's Mr. Jijo rather.
Yeah, it's Mr. Okay. So, I saw a post, a tweet this morning from on
Chairman,
Twitter
can you speak up a little bit for us?
saying Sarkodie has done what, but I don't want us to talk about um Yvonne Nelson uh, trying to paint Sarkodie black or anything. But I just want us to learn something from what is happening. I'm just 18 years, and I believe there are more other young people who are listening to this, and other young people who are watching what is happening. So I would like us to talk about the way forward. What are we supposed to do about this situation? I'll be very happy if Sarkodie comes out to apologize to her for, because I learned there were no text messages, no calls, because I know when some things like this happen, it's two partners. You have to take the decision to abort the thing. Now you the guy have to be there for the lady. You should escort her to the health center, be there for her, because she could die through this process. It has happened to many people. They've died through it. So I think Sarkodie should have been there for her. That's what I think.
I think they've been friends even after this. I mean, we've seen them interact on the TL. So I don't think we need to be like she said in her book. She does not need our judgments and our morality and whatnot. Whatever happened between them, definitely happened years ago, and they do interact, so they've moved past it. It's just sad that the whole book that she's there has so many parts to it, so many angles. She talks about so many things, and it's just all been deduced to just the Sarkodie aspect and making it look like, oh, she just was on her hands to run his reputation, blah 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 blah. But she had gone through some very very bad experiences, and like Mr. Jijo is saying, she wants us, those who look up to her, those who feel she's a role model, she's a celebrity, to learn from it. So it's just sad that we are limiting the whole 165-page book of her life to Sarkodie and Sarkodie's reputation. It's just sad. But anyways, what do I know? Ajwa, please, you can speak.
Okay, so I don't know why people are attacking Yvonne Nelson for bringing Sarkodie. Because, first of all, if someone could do good for you and you can speak about that person, you can call her name or his name and, oh, this person did this good for me. Why can't she mention his name whilst he does something to her? Some people said, Sarkodie should go and apologize. What is she going to apologize for? It's something that happened between them since 13 years ago. So there is no the fact that they will say, oh, he has to go and apologize to Yvonne Nelson for what? Why is he going to apologize? This is something that happened both of them. And a guy made mention of abortion supposed to, I mean, it's only the ladies that made up their mind of doing an abortion. It's never true. Some guys will be like, I'm not ready. Yes, and Yvonne Nelson stated that he said he wasn't ready. Some guys will be like, I am not ready, and you know the state in which I am right now. I can't cater for this, blah, blah, blah. So it's always done by the two parties, not one. It's always, unless maybe the lady will say, oh, I don't want him to know. Then you do it alone. Seriously, that's what I have.
Michelle, please, you can go.
Hi, thank you, Jacqueline. This is an awesome discussion, and thank you for your points and speaking up for everything that you're doing so far. So, I just wanted to comment on something I saw in page 9 of the book. I believe in the first chapter of the book, Yvonne focuses her lens on encouraging young women and, like you said, empowering people that, celebrity life is not all glitz and glam. And she actually says, and I quote from her book, it says, I intend to show them that celebrities are nowhere near the status of superhuman species. I really love that sentence, and I say this because I believe that in our society in Ghana right now, there's a lot of superhuman things that are placed on like celebrities, including religious like leaders, politicians, like people with really, really high positions. I understand that Ghana has a strong culture of, be obedience, be respectful, and all sorts of things. But we're in a time where a lot of people are hurting, and a lot of people are also hiding behind their statuses and their positions, and do quite crazy things and get away with it. I'm not saying that like she name drop a lot of people. So even when it comes to that issue of exactly why is everything surrounding Sarkodie, I disagree. Like, why are we even doing that? She mentions Tonto Dike. Actually, she mentions a very, very top Nigerian actress's name. She mentions other people's names. So yeah, let's focus and broaden the perspective, and stop like trying to take away the purpose of the book and trying to put our own intention. And I think people should actually read also before they comment. When it comes to abortion, I love talking about mental health, and I love that at this point Yvonne is able to, stand up for herself and come out and say what her story is. Her story, feel very ashamed to be themselves. And I think that she's really bold. I liked her, but even now I like her even more, because like respect. I respect her more than like a fake politician or a fake leader who can stand there and lie to the masses. whereby like things are happening to people and you won't stand for people. I don't think this is an embarrassment to Sarkodie. In fact, I was worried though when I saw it. I was like, okay, this guy is married now, and I was thinking about his wife actually, because I don't know what kind of things that she would be feeling now. And of course, I'm not going to talk about her because I don't know that part of the thing. But I don't think this is World Cup. I mean, this happens to presidents. Right now, Trump is being dragged in court for crazy things. President Bill Clinton has been taken to court for, sexual abuse and stuff like that. Like, it is time to talk about things like this. And I'm so happy. Like, I'm so happy for her that she's opened this up, because people are going through crazy things in this Ghana. Like, people are going through Africa, like things in Africa, sexual abuse and stuff being done by people in high places, and they have no help. Because when you take the case to court, guess what? Someone's gonna pay and they're gonna get away with it. So I think she is really a beacon of light. I'm just like really impressed, and I have like goosebumps all over, not because of anything, but because like she's just smart. And that's all that I had to say.
Michelle, let me ask you this. How do you think Tracy would take this news? You're a lady. Uh, Another lady has come out to claim that your husband in 2010 had something to do with her and forced her, or sort of advised her. I won't say force, advised her to terminate her. If you were Tracy, how would you receive such news?
I wouldn't want to be in her shoes right now, because like we're in the social media world, and like there's going to be a lot of trolling. Like, people are going to say all sorts of things. Matter of
You
fact,
know, right?
like now she's probably like, even I don't know what her relationship with Yvonne and Sarkodie are. I think that I've seen a lot of times on the TL that they're still friends. So this is going to be a test of trust, a test of things that they've talked about, and a test of timelines. Like, now, as a woman and as a crazy woman, like, there are people that do social media like research. They're gonna bring up everything, her friends, her family. Like, it's just gonna be some way. Like, even if she doesn't care in general, like, it's gonna be really hard for her. And she's the only one that I think of. But I don't think that Yvonne also bringing up this, like, she's not wrong either.
She's not.
So yeah, she's not wrong either. But it's just like
Not.
a test of the superhuman thing. Like, let's see how that plays out.
Right, Linda. How about you, Linda?
Okay, so to me, I think that Yvonne is at a point where she's recalling whatever has happened in her past, putting all the pieces that she went through in her past together to understand the woman she has gotten to at the point. So I don't see anything wrong with what she has written in her book. And then we read a lot of books, and the meaning we give to the books are different from what the writers sometimes even have to the book. And even in literature, you have a lot of different meanings to books. So I think right now that the writer is alive, we can have her to come out and give us a lot of explanations about what we are saying. Maybe that's not even what she is thinking, that at the moment she wrote into her book. Probably she has a different meaning, a different mindset or to what she has written. So maybe we can give her interviews with TV3. You can do that. And then we know what she meant by writing that in her book too. Yeah.
I quickly wanted to respond to that. Also, she had a book launch where she clearly shared the background and what led her to where she is and why she's sharing it. So she's already giving out that information. And even in the book, in the first two chapters, she states exactly why she wrote the book. So I don't think she owes us further explanations of how we should understand her story. Honestly, Linda, that's what I just.
Okay. Okay. Because I haven't read the book, I wasn't able to get to know that information. So right now you've cleared the air. I'm grateful. But then I'll try and get a book and read it.
You should. It's very insightful. It's on Amazon, subscribed, and you can
I will. I
Ghana
love reading
Bookshop.
hard copies, so I will buy the hard copy instead.
University of Ghana Bookshop is your place. Elton, you've been having your hand up.
Okay.
Hey, Mr. Crimea. All right. Okay. So, see, ladies. I mean, there's no way. I'm very emotional about this thing right now, and I hope I don't mess up right now. See, there is no way a lady can become a guy naturally. So I don't think any lady has the right to even say that guys are not sensitive when it comes to topics like abortion. See, you don't know how we feel. You don't know how we say it. We are scared of it. When we hear abortion, what we think about is death. So we want to disassociate ourselves with it. You don't know how we see. The fact that we don't talk about it doesn't mean that we are not bothered about it. And then looking at Yvonne and Sarkodie's issue, see, this this is what she wants us to hear. You get it? This is her book. This is her side of the story. She wants us to hear this, and that is what is in the book. I don't think they just got up and then decided on one day we should go into the room and have sex and make baby, and then probably whatever comes out of it will come out of it. It has one thing led to the other. Probably they fell in love with each other, and I've even seen them on a space where they spoke together when Yvonne Nelson was launching, was premiering her movie. Sarkodie was on a space. That is how come it led to the Assassin Radio interview where Yvonne was like, Sarkodie was prepared. It was an incident that happened on the space. It's something jovial. It's not even anything that has to do with their relationship. You get it? So this whole thing, there's a whole story behind it that we don't even know. Okay, so me, the reason why I'm quite sensitive about this thing is that Sarkodie is not married. All right, so if you are not even thinking about his brand, think about the family. Think about what what
Elton,
his
Elton,
might
I'm
even
not
go
cutting
through.
Elton, I'm not cutting you. Yvonne Nelson has a daughter. If she has to think about anything, she could also say
You
my
see,
daughter
this is
will
where you
grow
are
old
coming in.
and
This
my
is where you are
daughter.
bringing your
Yes.
feminist. You get it?
I'm not bringing a feminist. You brought a
That
perspective,
is
and
it.
perspective. You said she should think about Sarkodie's family, and I'm saying she can also say that she's thinking about her daughter, so she's not going to speak anything about it. I mean, the two can exist. Sarkodie can care for his family, and she can also care for her daughter and say, even my daughter being, my child being a female, might be stigmatized with this, that my mother had abortion, everybody knows about it. But she didn't even think to
But
that. She's
Jackie,
sharing her
nobody
story.
is talking about the fact that she doesn't have the right to talk about her past experience, the abortion that she had. Nobody is talking about that. Okay, the fact that you are talking about people involved in it, that is where we are sensitive about. Because if
The people
you
are in
you
her.
you you
The
you you've
people were
asked,
in her story. What are you saying, Elton? Let's have somebody else speak. We get your point.
Right, guys,
Doctor.
let's not forget also that these are adults sharing their opinion, or these are adults sharing their story. Yvonne Nelson was 25 years old, and Sarkodie was 22 years old when this thing happened. Let's not
Hi,
forget that.
hello.
Yes. So, in an excerpt of the book, Yvonne wrote, I was 25 and he was 22. I won't say I was too young to know how to protect myself, but I think I was naive. I was still that tomboy transitioning into womanhood, and I knew very little about the most important things about women. I knew nothing about safe periods and ovulations and the complexities of the monthly. I grew up with my mother, but should I? Okay. I grew up with my mother, but vagina and penis were like a taboo word in the house. So you get it. These are adults sharing their opinion, or this is an adult Yvonne Nelson telling her story of an encounter she had with another adult. 25 years and 22 years. Let's weigh the age. 25, 22. Yvonne 25, Sarkodie 22. So Big P.
Please, can I speak?
Alfred, you want to say something,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay. Okay, Alfred,
Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak. I think when I saw the news and everything that is happening, and especially even joining this space, one of the things I am realizing is how our society keep on thinking and defining women and expect women to be like the power dynamics between a man and a woman in our society, because
Mhm.
it's like we are trying to victimize Yvonne Nelson in this case. And if I look at the social media comments, people are trying to protect, they are concerned about protecting the image of Sarkodie, and not too much sensitive or thinking about how the implication of this on Yvonne Nelson. And this is because of the this is a cultural thing that we always downplay experiences of women, and we feel like women, like, sometimes their voices do not matter, or if it matters less, because without, maybe, unless otherwise stated, whatever Yvonne Nelson said is more or less a statement of fact. And for everything there are consequences. Yes, of course, we must be concerned about Sarkodie's family, but still Sarkodie cannot eat his cake and have it. It is something that really happened, and it is something that can come out, and Yvonne Nelson chose to bring it out at this point. When we keep on doing this, we are going to push a lot of women from speaking out, from as someone made a good contribution, that people are going through a lot. In our context, we take sexual issues about sex, and we make the men as hero whenever there's sexual relationship. On Twitter, I've seen how people are hailing Sarkodie as a king and as a hero for even sleeping with Yvonne Nelson, if I put it in that case. And it's more like devaluing the essence and the experiences of women. And for me, that is what I am so much passionate about. Like, how are young women who are growing up, young women on Twitter, young women going to see some of these experiences and even speak up if we have to speak up. So there's no shame in this. It is not shameful for Sarkodie. It is a past experience. It is in our context that we see issues of sex, because of how we have categorized it to be, like, we have categorized to be something like taboo, something that can never happen, but in our secrecy we do it worse, right? So I feel like, let's it's not about protecting, or it's not about protecting the image of Sarkodie, or whether Yvonne Nelson, she did was right or wrong, but let's look at some of these stories and its implications on young women. How can we use this to empower women, to cause women to speak up when they go through some of these things, to offer mental health care needs for them, to give them the platform? Yes, it is a big deal for a man to say let's go for abortion, but it's even more a big deal for the woman. It is more than ideal. I'm a man, so it will be easy, and I will still think about it. I'll be worried, but it will be more for the woman. And I think our society we have to come to the point that we try to allow the voice of women and listen to their voice, and try to be less prejudiced, try to be less stereotyped, and try to see how we can also promote their voice. I don't think Yvonne Nelson was trying to cause and problem for Sarkodie and his family. And I believe Sarkodie's wife, yes, if not for social media through, she shouldn't take this. I don't know, but I'm not trying to decide for her, but this shouldn't be something that should break a marriage, because this happened even before they got married. It didn't happen when they were married. When they married. So why should that affect the relationship? And I
Okay,
believe that
Alfred.
they've all
Alfred has
moved
a
on.
right. Alfred, thank you so much. This is a good submission, if you ask me. We have a doctor wanting to speak. Dr. Kwabna.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you're a pharmacist, and according to your bio, you're a pharmacist, you're a scientist, and a naturalist as well. Share with us your perception when it comes to health in terms of abortion, the risk involved, and the
Okay.
mental health and everything involved.
Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Looking at the health aspects, I think that first of all, you have to start from the the risk of the the person or the lady bleeding out and maybe losing her life. Secondly, we have the risk of the lady losing her womb or losing the ability to ever conceive again due to maybe something could go wrong during the procedure. Thirdly, you could look at the risk of even infections after, depending on where she did it. If it was a specialist, or if it was just someone who has the knowledge, who wants to do abortion for her, there could be a risk of infection, which could also lead her to lose her life. So I think that uh, that heightens the need for Sarkodie, or let me say, every man who finds himself in such a situation, to not let the woman go through this on her own, because looking at there are a myriad of things that could go wrong for the woman. There are a lot of things that could go wrong, and she's taking a very huge risk by accepting to do that. I think that at that time that they did that, both of them realized that they weren't in the capacity to raise a child. And I think I saw in one excerpt of her book that she said she wouldn't count the relationship they had as a very serious relationship. So she felt, or both of them felt, that this was the right thing to do. The wrong thing to do was to allow her to have gone through this on her own. I'm a very I'm a very staunch fan of Sarkodie and I respect him so much. I think that what Yvonne Nelson said in the introduction of her book, that she doesn't need people to be judgmental about this, is exactly what Ghanaians will do. The usual judgmental side of everything. Meanwhile, a lot of people judging her, I'm sure, have had multiple abortions on their own, have done worse things than what she has done, but trust the Ghanaian to make someone's sin look more sinful than theirs. So I think that all in all, they are 13 years more matured since that thing happened than now. I'm sure now, if they were in that situation, they would act better than they did. At that time, they were young and vibrant and adventurous, and they did what they did. We can appreciate the book, and like someone said, it is the trolling and the judgmental side of it that could hurt either families, namely Tracy and even families from Yvonne's side. It's the trolling and all of this that brings everything into more perspective and that could hurt them. So I think, yeah, on a health side, this should also be an avenue for us to create more awareness for education into things like this. There are proper procedures to go through. A lot of people don't know, and people tend to lose their lives or even lose the ability to conceive due to unplanned abortions. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Papa. Akwesi, you can go. Albert, Akwesi.
Jackson, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so good evening to everyone, and so this is my 2 cents on the whole issue. I think that I haven't read the book yet. I'm yet to probably get the book and all that. But for me, from where I sit, I think that I'm not a writer, but from what I've heard writers say and all that, writing your thoughts down or something, writing a book, it's not that easy. I'm here and I'm trying to figure out how long it took her to actually put all these things together. Because from all these ordeals and whatever things she's gone through, replaying everything back in her mind and putting it down in a book. I'm not sure that it was probably something that it was probably an easy thing for her, recollecting all the memories and everything that she has been through and all that. And for me, like you said that she said in the book and all that, there are people who actually follows her. There are people who are see her as a role model and all that. She's letting people know that for you all who actually think or thought that it has been all good for me since childbirth to where I got and all that. It has been all good for me and all. If you think it that way, no. This is my story. I'm actually telling you that this is what I have been through. This is what life has been for me. And so if you are looking up to me, not to say that go and do exactly what you have already done or anything, but if you are looking up to her, if you know that, at the end of the day, you go through struggles and all that. But today she's successful. I want to even read the book to the extent I want to see the part where, the Ghana movie industry probably sideline her and all that. This is one of the best things she has. I think she's one of the best things she has actually done so far. To actually, because now look at the book is actually getting attention and all that. And so, whatever thing that has happened and whatever thing she has gone through, I think that it should be a lesson for people who look up to it to actually learn from it. And for those people who actually if you're going to be trolling and all that, I think that it's some kind of childish thing to probably be trolling somebody for something that has happened in the past. Well, it is in the past, but at the end of the day, someone in fact, Kwame Nkrumah wrote his book. People are still reading. People have written books here and there, and people are reading. And so I don't think that it should be anything strange and all that. But for me, I think that if Nelson has actually paved the way, a lot of people are going to be writing books these days. I'll be waiting to actually see Abdul Koko write a book so that we can read and all that. There are a lot of things happening in Ghana that we don't know about. People should put them in books and then they should be selling it for us so that we read and get to know what is happening. For me, I think she has done a very fantastic job putting her thoughts down. Because to be very honest, exactly, for someone to actually carry this thing for how many years and to recollect everything and put it in a book, it's not that easy. I don't think that it's something that she took it easy. The ordeal she went through, the trauma, whatever thing, to actually remember that you once upon a time you had an abortion, the pain you went through and all that. I don't think that is something easy and all that. But she's going to cash out, and I hope that she cash out. Please, people should go and buy the book. Buy the book. Someone, if you want to buy the book for me, buy it for me anyway.
Netflix is on its way
But
to
I don't
produce
regret
a
exactly.
Netflix original on I Am Not Even Nelson.
One of the things I'm even looking at is the fact that I'm sure that she's going to even produce,
Yeah,
or probably produce
definitely,
a movie, probably
definitely.
definitely aside this, she's probably going to
I
produce a
agree.
movie that's going to
Thank
talk
you
about
so much,
something else and all
Chrissy.
that. But yeah,
There's
that's
someone
just it.
has a hand up. Senna, please go ahead. But before Senna goes ahead, I wanted to say something to what Akwesi had said about probably Abena Koko and Co them writing books. You see, it brings back the things that people say when Abena Koko just comes to tweet. We don't take it serious. That goes back to my point. If Yvonne had tweeted this, everybody would have thought to say, oh, it is just for clout. She's about to promote her movie and blah, blah, blah. And nobody would have taken it serious. And here is the case. She's taking her time to detail such trauma. And yet still, the perception people are thinking is, oh, why didn't she think about his family? I mean, you can never win on Ghana, Twitter, and
Sarkodie
social
can
media.
also
Senna,
write
please
a
go.
book where
Right.
something like
Before Senna speaks, Jacqueline, before Senna speaks, let's acknowledge our neighbor and chairman. Neighbor, GTV. GTV Ghana, say something. Say something.
What's up? What's up? What's up? It's been a long time, yeah, Charlie. um, I don't know if I'm allowed to just say something quick and then I mute the mic and yield it to somebody else. Can you hear me?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Um, yes, first off, we are neighbors. Yes, we are neighbors. This no be competition. I mean,
are you going to write a
if
book?
you stand in GTV, you can throw a stone. The stone will enter TV3. You stand there, throw a stone to come to our end. So yeah, we are neighbors. We are cool like that. But I mean, this issue that has come, it's an issue between two adults. One, I think this thing happened over 10 years, if not more, 10 years ago. I'm sure if they have the chance to go back in time, things would not have taken this turn. Certain things would have been done in the right way. Certain things wouldn't have even happened in the first place. So that's about it. And then, everybody has a skeleton in their closet, kind of. So I see all the commentary. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody is saying something. This should have been that. That should have been this. This should have been that. Bro, if if your own come out, sometimes you go hide. Yeah. So let's just be mindful. Let's know that these are human beings involved in this thing. Both of them have emotions. They have people who rely on them. They have lives that they are living. There are people whose lives revolve around them now. So let's just take it easy on. Everybody has an opinion. It's like Charlie. People are making it look like when you open their book, you don't see anything wrong for inside. But I mean, let's just try to stick to the issue. And then another thing is this: one side of the story is out there in a book. We've not heard from the other side. The other side may not, knowing Sarkodie, he may not even
Like his
try
book,
to
it's still
come and
in
say
the wrap.
something or say anything, something like that. He may just let this slide. But yes, this is just one side of the story. When you hear Kofi speak, you should at least hear what Amma also has to say. That way you can put the things in proper perspective. But this is one side of the story. And let's just tone down and the trolls and all of that, Charlie. I mean, a lot of people put things out there just to get a few likes and all of that. I mean, we are in this social media game. We know how these things work. But when you do, just know that these are people. These are people who have families. They have people whose living is connected to them somehow. Yvonne has put this out. She probably is overwhelmed right now by the response or what people are saying, how the whole thing has blown. She probably is overwhelmed. Sarkodie, I've not seen anything from his side or anything like that. But I mean, just put yourself in that shoe. Put yourself, both of them, put yourself in those shoes and see how they will be feeling right now. So Charlie, let's stick to the issue. Not too much judgment. People are saying things as if Charlie they were there when something happened. But I mean, these are adults, and from
what other people are also saying, they are cool. I mean, after all this has happened, they are cool. They've been seen at places together, interacting, and all of that. So let's not overly sensationalize this thing to make it look like Charlie. Well, somebody has died, a child has died, but Charlie, let's just tone it down a bit. That's very
Right,
happy for you.
neighbor, thank you so much. You do all. Please share the link with us. But guys, let me encourage you to grab a copy of I Am Not Yvonne Nelson. Once again, I will keep on stressing on this till the end of the spaces. Grab a copy of I Am Not Yvonne Nelson. Hard copies are on sale at almost all the university in Ghana, yes. University of Ghana, I know of. If you go to Amazon, you can get the soft copy of the book as well to grab. It's for peanuts, very affordable. You can grab a copy, read, and all that. Now let's get to Senna and take the opinion. Senna, you can speak now.
Thank you very much, TV3, my own people. I think I've been on the space for quite a while. I used a lot of our different handles to join. So I first joined at 3 Extra, also joined at Media General GH. And I just decided to join with my own profile so that my opinions I mentioned here are taken as my opinions, not reflective of the opinions of the organization or the group as a whole. I think the first thing is I've listened to a lot of people, and two things when it comes to the Sarkodie and Yvonne Nelson story in her book, because we seem to handle it as though that is the only thing she's mentioning in the book, and I think it's just reflective of us as a society. There are stories in there, really heavy stories about Inyanya. There are stories in there about Tonto. There are different stories from her movie, her acting days, stories about her paternal background, so paternity tests that she did and things like that. But we are focusing on this one because for us, it's the one that we expect to have the biggest gravitas. And in as much as that is expected, we should not also we should not forget the parts where the two people involved are still very cool.
With 2020 well, he's going to respond in due time, and then he ended up using it as a plug to.
Okay, somebody needs to go on mute.
I think TV3.
Okay, great. Yes, so we have to really not forget that the two people that are involved are still very cool. But why would they be very cool? Even if they have not spoken about it, or they have, this brings me to the point I really want to make. The need for us to have open conversations about our past with our closest people. So be it your current spouse, your wife, your husband, there are certain key defining moments in your life that you might hold on to as secrets, but these certain people should know these things, or at least guide them if there's a possibility for you to feel ashamed or maybe hurt, or I don't know how to put it, maybe frustrated if those certain things should come out. Maybe we are sitting here thinking about how would Tracy Sack take it, how would Sarkodie's new family take it, how would maybe even Yvonne Nelson's own family take it. But it's probably that they have discussed this thing with these people and they've already cleared its undertone. She's just writing a book of her life story, and she's decided that this is a pivotal moment in her life that she has decided to put in there. So that's the first thing. People can draw all their own conclusions and say, okay, she did it because she's trying to chase clout. And when I see those particular messages that Yvonne Nelson is trying to chase clout, I get it. Sarkodie is big, but Yvonne Nelson is big too. This is not some 2x4 actress that is now coming onto the scene that's about to now chase clout. Yvonne Nelson was big and went as far as Nigeria before Sarkodie even got to that level. So I do not believe that can be a conclusion that anybody should even draw, that Yvonne Nelson is now trying to draw clouds or anything like that. And again, the one key lesson I think everybody should take out of this is almost every one of us have lived a certain period where we were either too young or too adventurous or too wild. And there are stories or things out of that we need to share with our significant others, our families, and the people that we expect to be guarded or to be protected should these things come out in public, so that at least we know that from our central inner circle, we've already given them some sort of protection, some sort of styrofoam to cushion them when these things come out. And the second appeal would be that yes, the Sarkodie issue might be the peak for us right now in Ghana, but there are very critical things that she speaks about. I think I have not fully read all the book. I just bought it on Amazon. It's about 260 or something pages. I'm not that far gone into it. I've not even gotten to some of the stories that we are discussing in the space. All I know about the things are what I have seen trending, I've seen in the news articles, I've seen on 3news.com, 3extra.tv, and the rest of the other portals. So I would still say that all of us should get the book. We should be able to try to read as much as we can, understand the sentiments that she's speaking with. And I think when you read the book, she is really talking about all the things that have shaped her to be the woman that she is today. And we can also look at exploring the different angles from each of those ones. I've seen the tweet from Inyanya, how Inyanya, I never can pronounce his name well, how he says Toto Dike will also write a book and all of those things. And of course, Inyanya has said that he never cheated and things like that. We expect some response and things going out again. But I believe all of those things come back to the same thing. We need to have truly open conversations that will help every single person that is involved heal or have some sort of closure. Because oftentimes the trauma is also because there's no closure. If maybe Inyana didn't cheat or Inyana didn't see what he was doing as cheating, if they had an open conversation at that time, maybe when it comes out this way, Inyana will not feel like he's having this. I'm just going to call him IY because I can't pronounce Inyanya or your. I'm just going to call him IY at this point. But if they had that open conversation, that sort of closure between the two of them, if it is written in the book in this way, I'm sure it would have been something that they would have both mutually agreed on, that this was a key and critical moment in our life. It's part of their history, no matter what they can do about it. But at least when it comes out in public this way, there will be no dispute or contention between the two of them. Somebody saying, "Oh, you didn't cheat," or somebody saying, "I cheated," and things like that. What I would say is, if Nelson has put her story out there, she's very brave for doing so. Also, just knowing the space we are in, the amount of religious. We are in a very religious and conservative Ghana, so she might have also just understood the amount of pushback that's going to come against her when she talks about the abortion, the relationships that she had and things like that. She most likely expected, and that's a very brave position to take. I know Yvonne. She and I have had our altercations in the past and things like that. But I'm really, really proud that she has put her voice out there, and I hope you all take a lesson or two from it. That's where I'm going to
Right.
end. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Senna.
Can you
Thank you
explain the
so
altercation?
Uh,
Because
Or you also write a
so,
book.
guys, we are joined by Madam Anita E.
Yep.
Asamoah. Madam Anita is a public health advocate and researcher as well. So, Madam Anita, can we have your opinion on this?
Okay, hello everyone.
Hi,
Hi.
we can hear you.
Thank you, and thanks for the opportunity. First of all, what I would like to say is everybody is important and should be treated as such. No one is important than the other, irrespective of gender. Just because someone is a male and married doesn't make the person more important than the other. Now, the mental state of individuals are very important. You see, we don't shut people up when they are trying to open up, because a lot of us have burdens on our shoulders. The more they talk, they open up and they are free. So as a people, I think we should have this at the back of our minds and stop shutting people down when they are trying to open up. Another thing is the hypocrisy of a lot of us on the abortion. I don't understand. A lot of you are scared of pregnancy than HIV, from research we've been doing in Ghana here. So a lot of abortions go on. So I have been reading the post on Twitter and Facebook, and you are all about the abortion. No, I from that part of the book, I don't think she was even really about the abortion. It was the aftercare she didn't get, which was emotional to her. I think she was referring to, and this tells us that as men, that what, when you go for an abortion, I mean, you ought to go for abortion with your partner or with your wife. You should know that you should be there to give, some care and thoughts, emotionally, because it's traumatizing though. It's very, very traumatizing. So as men, you should be there for them when you opt for abortion. Yeah. And then men also, I see that most men don't want to be mentioned in connection with any abortion. So please and please try as much as possible to take responsibility for your actions or wear condoms. Condoms are very cheap. That way you save yourself a lot of explanation, and a lot of other stories that long stories that you would want to cut short. That is that. And then you see, DNA testing is very readily available in Ghana. When you are in doubt, please and please talk with your partner and go for DNA testing. There's a reason why I'm saying this. And also, we should also know that anyone can mention our names when they are writing either their memoir, their biography, or whatever. So you should be very, very careful of your lifestyle or the kind of life you live. Because if it's false allegation, you can sue the person, but you wouldn't be able to really stop the person from mentioning your name. If I tell you that I'm writing my own story, but you were part of it, you see. So I think, in a nutshell, let's be careful about our lifestyles, the lifestyle we live. Know that HIV is more deadlier than pregnancy, and let's care about the mental state of others, and not just you yourself alone. Let us stop shutting people down and thinking that people are clout chasing and they want to be famous and trend. That is why maybe they are saying their stories. Thank you very much.
I think
Thank you
Jacqueline,
so
please,
much.
I have a question. I have a question
That's
to ask Madam Anita.
very insightful.
Sorry,
Um,
please. You
I
said,
wanted to ask a question.
I was saying thank you, but Senna had a question. Akwesi also
okay,
had
go
a
on,
question.
please.
No, I think mine is not really a question. It's just to add on to the part that you mentioned around know that anybody can tell their story. And that is very critical. I was talking to a group of
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah,
group
exactly,
I was
exactly.
talking to
Okay,
a
thank you.
group of
Okay.
boys today, and I was telling them that we are here trolling, not really trolling. We are here saying Sarkodie no force, Sarkodie no force. If people decide to tell their stories that you are involved in, you would want to be buried down into a hole. You would want the earth to
Exactly,
swallow you
exactly,
because your
exactly,
stories
exactly.
is just because nobody is telling your stories. But this should also tell you that anybody can wake up and decide to write a memoir. And which is why, again, I'll reiterate, it is really critical to have open and closed conversations about pivotal moments in your life with the people that are involved in it. Because mistakes need there, we'll all make mistakes. But it is
I
how
have
we
a
handle
question.
the aftermath of all of that.
Yeah, because people think these days, this is more about, let me make it romantic relationships, but I'm going to add just every other relation, even in the office. People think they can eat their cake and have it. They want to do this and they don't know that there are consequences ahead. In this, the era of phones and all that, these little gadgets all around, people can record you and all that. You just have to be careful, because what you do not expect will bring you down in a minute. All your life you've toiled for, a little 1 minute video can bring you down, or a write-up can go viral and it will bring you down. All what you've toiled for in years. So I think I will end it here. Thank you.
I have a question. I have a
Thank you,
question.
Thank you so
Madam
much.
Thank you
Anita.
so much.
Please, I have a question. I don't know, but if Madam Anita can answer, or Sena can also answer this for me. There are people who, people who actually say or say that, sometimes you need to keep your secrets to yourself and take them to your grave and all that. I have always said that, sometimes, the past can actually come and haunt you in the present. There are people who also say that the past is not the present, so, whatever it is should be. But then, so my question is that if you happen to meet your significant person, the one person you want to spend the rest of your life with, is
Okay.
it really important to actually bring certain things from the past, let them know, open up certain things from the past, with so that maybe in the future when something happens like this, it wouldn't be something strange or something new. I want to get your thoughts on this.
Okay, so in bringing or in saying about your past in relationships, when it gets to a certain stage, when you are very sure this is the person I'm getting married to, there are points or there are times when some conversations come up. You say that, oh, even this thing we are discussing about, I remember so and so, maybe I had this same issue. And it would be as if, it's a story that just came up. But if that sometimes people will ask you that your other person, your partner would ask you, if you know that you want to be sincere, and which I say people should be sincere and honest because of integrity, please do tell them. But there are some certain things too. You may have to seek professional counseling first to know at what point to, tell the other person. But issues of health, especially HIV positivity, maybe you have this, you have that. I can't go and disclose to your partner you have HIV, even if I know. Please, even you are on the medication, you have to tell the person because you have to protect the other person as well. So there are instances you immediately have to let the person know when you are ready and you are very sure, 100%, at least 99% sure you are getting married to this person. Let us tell them. If you are not so certain, seek professional counselors. No, I'm not talking of the church counseling, please. I'm talking of professional that you can talk to, and they will tell you, maybe give you a guideline or timeline on when and how to go about it. Sometimes it could even be they would break it maybe in their presence, while your partner is there and all that. But there are some imminent things you've done in the past that you have to say so that it wouldn't haunt you, and you yourself, your mind will be free. You wouldn't, when your wife picks your phone, you would always be aggressive and all that. it
Okay,
it wouldn't help you. Yeah.
Madam Asamoah, according to social media or commentary on social media, there is a school of thought that is saying Tracy is kind of in the dark right now. But imagine if Tracy
Mm.
had no idea about this and is finding
Mm-hmm.
out just like the millions of people on social media right now. How
Yeah.
do you think Tracy should react as a wife?
Okay. Now, this issue happened way before they were married. But when I was trying to do some little calculation there, I am sure, I'm not certain though, they were seriously dating probably at that period, if I
So
am right.
yeah, so Yvonne Nelson said Sarkodie refused the pregnancy because he was in a relationship, but she didn't
You
mention
see.
if it was Tracy that was the girlfriend she was talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Uh-huh. So because he was in a committed exclusive relationship, he shouldn't even have had a fling in the first place. So if Tracy is making or taking an informed decision today because of this issue or since yesterday, it would be because even when this thing happened, I was with you and we were already serious, but I wasn't around. You see, that would be her point. But for the mere fact that it happened before they exchanged rings and signed in the court, some would let it pass and say, oh, we were not married then, it happened. But for some, they will tell you that we were already in committed relationship, and you did this. So that means I can't trust you. The trust is broken. Even if there's forgiving or forgiveness, psychologically, I am telling you, it will have a dent on the family. She may not go for divorce because, she may have to go for counseling and talk and all that, but there's a dent. Fine, you can repair it, but it will always be in the heart. That is part of the effect. But with time, definitely time heals. She may get over it, but I'm sure it's not going to be really easy. But it is what it is. It happened, and that is her own story as well. She has to tell it. it is what it is. She has to. They just have to find a way and a balance. Yeah.
So
Right. If
maybe
if
just
it
to,
were if it were to be you in the shoes of Tracy right now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Forgive me. If you were Tracy,
Yeah.
what would be your first reaction, go-to reaction after this news broke?
Okay. So if it were me, because of maybe my level of exposure and experience in life generally, I would first of all read the book to really know what the book is about. And then because it
Madam
is
Anita,
her own story as a, can you hear me?
yeah, we can now. We can now.
Okay. I'm saying that if I were the one, I would first of all read the book to even know what it is about or what is in there. And because it is someone's story as well, I would do it is my husband, I have to ask questions. Oh, at this point we were dating, why did you do this? And you didn't mention, maybe you had a fling, blah 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 blah. If I am satisfied with the questions and I feel all right, fine, maybe I can forgive him and we move on. Because you, as a family or as a woman, you look at so many other things. For some people, the deal breaker is cheating during the marriage. Any cheating before the marriage, they don't mind that, even if they were exclusive. Do you get my point? So I will look at all these things, ask him questions. If I am satisfied, fine, we move on. But like I said, it would always be in my mind that he did this, even though I may not be referring to it, so that he will feel free or not burdened in the home. But it's, for you can't forget. So for me, it's two options. I will listen to him first and think about it for a while before I will take my decision, if I'm maybe separating or maybe I'm still staying. That is me. If the deal breaker is the cheating within the marriage, then divorce option is probably out. We would make amends and probably go for counseling and all that. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. You want to say something? I
Yes.
know Ato Kwamena and Street Prayers. You've raised your hands for a while. You guys will speak very soon. But let Jacqueline say something.
Yes,
Then
I
go
just
to
I just
Ato.
wanted to I just wanted to add up to what Madam Anita has said, that I like that the conversation has, shifted and we are learning and picking up stuff. But also to go back on what she had said, that most likely there is a timeline between when the Yvonne Sarkodie happened, and there is a timeline between when he and Tracy married. And within that 13-year period, there is the possibility of they having this conversation. Like she had advised that those who are dating have certain conversations and say certain things. So the likelihood of they having that conversation might have also happened. So this news may not also come as a shock to Tracy. Also, there are people that have created parody accounts and are tweeting things to make it seem like they are Tracy, they are Sarkodie, they are Yvonne. So let's not jump onto those tweets without really double checking to see if those are verified accounts. And then we run narratives with them saying that, oh, this is what this person has said, this is what this person. The parody accounts are also very actively working to spread misinformation. So let's limit that as well. But thank you so much, Madam Anita. Like, the insights and the perspective have been really amazing with the points that you've raised.
Thank you
um
very much for having
before
me.
before you come on, streets and then Atu, um there's the context of these two people, or actually, let me even say these two people and their respective parties. They are both public figures now, right? So there's that context that it's they are both public figures who have somehow consented to having their life out there and having themselves being prodded apart and torn apart by the public eye. It's a negative effect of becoming a public figure, and it's there.
Sorry, Kaiser. Sorry. Before I forget, I just wanted to chip in something. Sorry, please. We should also note that this was a consensual relationship. We should be wary of this issue of sometimes most men say this, that when a woman says no, sometimes it means she wants you to actually push so that you have sex. Because if this issue had been something like that, then forget it. You know, Sack would really, this would be the end of his career. I mean, I don't know if you are getting the drift. So please, let's be mindful of that as men as well. In short, all of us in general. Rape, I mean allegations of rape and all that. Yeah.
Thank you very much. That was actually a very cogent point. Thank you. So I think, like I was saying, the two people are public figures. They've consented to having their life put apart. In a way, just by the fact of being public figures, is a negative effect of that. But the next thing also there is bringing me back to the point of now that we are all thinking about how Tracy would handle it, how the impact on Tracy would be, which is where, again, I hope we are taking the lesson of being able to talk about these things, right? There's something that I tell people that I've learned in my personal life, but also works for me when it comes to work, not letting people know the heavy things after the fact. The heavy things, and I think there was a question earlier from someone who said, should you open up or should you divulge secrets that you think you want to carry to your grave or something like that when you meet the partner of your life or things like that? I think secrets, you can only keep it to yourself if it's just you keeping it. Once there's somebody else who can say it and it's something heavy, you should probably let whoever can have a negative reaction to it if it comes public, know that there's this thing out there, right? And once you have that conversation, you have shielded the person. Now the person does not know after the fact where they have found out prior, and then you are now saying it. And again, this is a lesson that I've learned both personally in my personal life and also I've learned at the workplace. It feeds into everything. You have made a mistake. It's also part of the acceptance and taking responsibility that I've made a mistake and I've grown from it, to let people know that, oh, this is the mistake I made, before they go and find out and try to query you or it becomes public and then now you are coming to, because that just shows that if it was never, if it's not something you've grown out of, it's not something that you've given up on. But if something that you've given up on, you have learned your lessons, they are pivotal moments that have shaped your life, you then are able to put it up front that this thing or this so and so happened and this so and so is what but this is what I learned from it and this is why I'm here now. I want to bear this and put it in front of you, which is a very critical thing for all of us to do when we are also taking certain key steps and decisions again in our life.
All
Hello,
right,
good evening.
Street Prayer, you can speak now. You've been on for a while.
Okay, thanks very much. First of all, good evening to everybody on the space. And I'm very happy and delighted to be given the opportunity to speak. First of all, I would like to say that Yvonne Nelson is very brave. I have been her fan for a very long time and also a big fan of Sarkodie. So both of them are people that I so much admire. And I think Yvonne Nelson has given us a slight experience of how Judgment Day will be, because we'll all find ourselves in a story of people on Judgment Day. So I think that what people are saying about the whole issue, it should rather tell them something that we need to picture ourselves and know how we will look in other people's story. Because for me, I think this should rather give us all a lesson than putting blames on different people. Both of them are adults. Both of them are adults. And somebody might ask, why is Yvonne Nelson not saying anything, or why has she not said anything about this thing for a very long time and now? But the problem is you can't tell somebody when he or she should tell his or her story. So I think this is the
Go and agree with
time.
that.
I think this is the time she has decided to bring out the story. As to whether it will affect her or the other person, both of them are public figures. So whilst people are saying she should have thought about Sarkodie's brand, she is also a public figure and she has people who are looking after her. Just like Sarkodie, just as people are saying she might tarnish Sarkodie's image, it's the same way. So we can't blame her. And as a matter of fact, I have not looked at the book yet, but I think there are other stories in the book as well. But because Sarkodie is one person that people follow a lot, and he's like always active. So I think this is the reason why his side of the book, or what was written about him in the book, has become a talk of the day. Let's also not forget that what has happened to Yvonne Nelson can happen to anybody. So instead of people trying to throw her or say something bad about her, we should rather sympathize with her. And as a lady, I know women are very emotional. Women are very emotional. So if as a man, you know you are not ready for this, and
I have
you
to
know
stop
you
you there.
can't take
Streets, streets,
responsibility.
Please,
streets,
yeah, you've said a
streets.
lot of good
You
things.
You've said a lot
You
of
are,
good
you are
things. Don't mess it up
digressing.
by saying women are
Don't
emotional.
yeah,
mess it up. Thank
Can I
you for
can
the
I can I,
submission so far.
Yes, don't mess it up
Sweet
by saying women
prayer,
are
sweet
emotional.
prayer. Thank you
okay?
so
Can
much.
I say
You re-
something,
Yes.
please?
yeah,
Yeah,
Yuri,
yeah,
you touch it
yeah.
now.
Thank you very much for giving me the space. Yeah. Actually, I just wanted to direct my questions to Mrs. Anita. I learned she's into mental health, and I'm also into mental health. Actually, the thing is, with Sarkodie and Yvonne Nelson, yes, she came out to talk, wrote a book to express herself.
Mm.
She has mental problems. Like, sorry, she's going through some mental things that she
Yo,
wants to let out.
Don't say
But
she has mental
say I
problems.
am sorry. It was a slip of tongue because that was a very big blunder to say she has mental
No.
problems.
sorry,
Uh-huh.
slip of tongue, slip of tongue. Sorry,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
did she consider the state Sarkodie is going to be in if he realizes that this
Mhm.
issue is out there in the space, it's out there in the world, and everybody's talking about it? Let's narrow the whole thing. Let's forget about
Mhm.
Sarkodie's brand. Let's forget about
Mhm.
his music, his money, and all that. But
Mhm.
his mental health. Did
Mhm.
Yvonne Nelson consider Sarkodie's mental health, putting
Mhm.
this information out? So I'm just narrowing my question to Mrs. Anita, because it seems
Mhm.
this world people focus more on women than men. They
Mhm.
focus more about the mental state of women, even here
Mhm.
where I am. I'm in the UK, and they focus more on women than men. They don't consider men when it comes to certain things. They think
Mhm.
men are strong to harbor lots of things in them. But I'm telling you for a fact, there are lots of men out there who are going through lots of stress. They
Mhm.
just keep it to themselves. So,
Mhm.
Yvonne Nelson bringing this thing out,
Mhm.
did she consider the state Sarkodie is going to be in, the impact on himself, not just his family, but on himself? How it is going to, let him lay back, putting aside the strength or maybe the money that Sarkodie has. So please,
Mhm.
I think men should be considered when it comes to these things. For me, I think the
Mhm.
best resolution to this was Yvonne should have sat with Sarkodie, and I don't know whether they did that or not, but there should have been something like they should have probably reached a consensus before maybe bringing this thing out. But if she just put it out there in the public for everybody to consume, and today I've been on Twitter the whole day. I've been on Twitter, and the number of tweets that I've seen concerning this particular thing. I bet you, if I were to be in Sarkodie's shoes, I'll probably just log out of Twitter and then throw my phone somewhere, because
Yeah.
honestly, I mean, it will really really drain you. And I
Mhm.
think men are not considered when it comes to mental health. And what you said, I was not in full agreement with it, that Yvonne
Mhm.
Nelson is going through mental stress and she just needs to let it out. Did she consider Sarkodie? Because I know
Mhm.
intercourse is a two-way process. It's not just one way.
Mhm.
Sarkodie didn't
Mhm.
force himself on Yvonne. She
Yeah.
lay down on the bed and then they had intercourse. So it's a two-way thing. You see,
Mhm.
so saying that she had an abortion and Sarkodie wasn't there, blah blah blah, and then you put it out there in the space. Have you considered Sarkodie, what he will go through? So
Mhm.
I think it's. I mean,
Mhm.
maybe it's a promotional agenda for her book,
Mhm.
but I mean, it's not right. It's not right. Seriously. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Miss Anita,
Yeah.
before
Oh,
you
okay.
speak.
Let Miss Adita finish,
No,
then
no,
we
no, no.
come with
Before Miss
our own.
Anita speaks, I think I want to tell Yuri something. You
Mhm.
see, you made a statement that men are not considered when it comes to mental health,
Yeah.
and I thought through this statement in my mind like several times as you were speaking, but I just wanted to don't take it the wrong way, but the ingrained misogyny is still showing in that statement, right?
Very clear.
The ingrained misogyny is still showing in that statement. One, nobody considers anybody when it comes to mental health. You consider yourself. When you go deep into it to do all the analytical things you need to check, majority of the people that stand against men showing vulnerability when it comes to mental health is men. If anything at all, a lot of women have been craving and asking and literally begging their men to be vulnerable, to open up the more. It is men themselves that have created that toxicity that you cannot be vulnerable to each other. And I have friends who, when I'm trying to even be a little vulnerable, that Charlie, let me go drink some beer. What does he be, woman? It is never women that come with that. So if there's any consideration for the mental health of men, it should come from men. It is
Okay. Okay.
that's the first thing. Now the
Okay.
second
But
thing is you are making an assumption. You are making an assumption here that there is no consideration for Sarkodie's mental health. And again, that's the first thing I mentioned at the beginning of the stage. We can make all the assumptions. The best way for these things is that the two core involved parties should have had their own discussions. And I can almost tell you for sure that if there was that discussion and proper closure on both parties, maybe the parts of this book we are reading would have had something different or would have been the same. Nobody can tell. But the idea of, oh, did she consider Sarkodie's mental health before putting this out there or anything like that? We can never really know. And that is why we need to not make assumptions on that part. We only deal with what is in front of us. If Sarkodie, being the man that he is, to use your own
okay.
phrase, being the
So
man that
let
he is, has something to say, like Inyanya or Inyanya, he can also
okay.
say something.
Okay.
And then we'll be presented with the two sides of the story.
Good. Thank you very much. Let me chip in something. You see, there is that school of thought that men have that toxic masculinity where everyone thinks I'm a hard guy. You know, when you are seeing something which really concerns you, the other guy will just shut you up. But let me tell you for a fact, there are lots of men out there. Well, I don't have the statistics at hand, but there are lots of men out there who want to share what they are going through. It's not about the toxic masculinity or whatever, but there are lots of men out there who want to share what they are going through. So please, let's forget about other men shutting other men up. There are lots of men out there who want to share. Someone like Inyanya, he would like to share on social media, but Sakode wouldn't like to share. So that's why there are lots of personalities, different
Okay.
personalities. There are
Yuri,
others,
so
yeah.
Yuri, I get your point. So let me put my comments back into the perspective of what you are saying
Okay.
in terms of Sarkodie. You said Yvonne should have considered Sarkodie's mental health.
Exactly, yeah.
Hold on. So I didn't want to go down this path, but I will have to go down this path. Did Sarkodie consider Yvonne's mental health 10 years ago or 13 years ago when he dropped her off at the clinic and didn't care to check up on her after? No. Should we say that he
No,
didn't
no, no.
care?
We can't see that.
We can't say
Okay.
that. So then why can you say that
Ja-
Yvonne is not caring for his mental health?
Well,
Jacqueline,
I
just
don't
to
know.
say something before I drop off, Yuri mentioned that he did not have the statistics. I do.
Give it to us.
41% of men do not
Hey, Georgia,
want to talk
how are
about
you?
mental health issues. I will put a link to that particular statistic in the chat. You can check it.
I'll
And
pin it.
over 28% of men decided that they are not going to seek medical help for their last mental problem that they faced. And these are studies that have been, so I'm not just speaking based on assumptions or based on, oh, I think. This is data that is publicly available that you can check out yourself. It is not anybody that is stopping men from being vulnerable. It is men.
Thank you, Senna. And I wanted to conclude also by saying that you had said that why is Sarkodie not speaking? This is Yvonne's story. This is how she is dealing with whatever trauma she had gone through to get her closure. So she is sharing to heal herself, to overcome her mental troubles, as you had earlier put. So let her do as she wants. When Sarkodie writes a memoir and says he also wants to state his side of the story and address how his mental health is not being regarded and blah blah blah, then we can also pick it up from that angle. But we cannot say because someone is sharing her story, she should put it on hold and wait, which we don't even know if she had done that. That's what I'm saying. Like Senna had said, you don't know if there had been a conversation, because in the past 13 years, they have interacted on this TL, they've interacted at events in person, taking pictures. We've seen it. So you don't know if they've moved past it. You don't know if Tracy already knows about this. You don't know if Sarkodie has already finished even dealing with that mental trauma. You wouldn't know. Nobody knows. It's between the two of them. That is why this whole mental compass and moral compass of why are you not caring for the other, why are you not caring for the other, do not hold. Because she said it in her book. And I'll always go back to the first chapter of the book. She said she wrote her book so that those that look up to her and think she has a perfect life would know that she has not had it all perfect. That is the premise and the reason for the book. It is not about Inyanya. It is not about her father that she didn't know till whenever. It is not about the abortion. It is not about all of that. All she's saying is all these things, all these timelines have made the Yvonne Nelson you people only see on your screens and on social media. So learn from it. This is what I have been through. Pick something out of it. Go through the ruins, the roughs, but always come out successful. Build a career. It is for her followers, her fans. People want to pick something, not about how Sarkodie's mental health is going to be or how Tracy is going to feel. Please, let's put it in perspective.
All right, guys. So from the beginning of the Twitter space to now, we've had a lot of opinions. We've learned a lot, but the whole conversation will be posted on our podcast. So TV3 Ghana has a podcast titled Showbiz University. It goes on Spotify, it goes on AudioMac, it goes on Google Podcast as well. So make sure you stream Showbiz University. So this whole Twitter space will be packaged into a podcast and posted on Showbiz Uni. Make sure you stream it. And you can catch all the stories that is coming out from this Yvonne Nelson's book at 3extra.tv. It's an entertainment blog and website you can stream from. You can check it. Follow it as well. Buy the book. Guys, I cannot stress on this enough. Buy the book. And Jacqueline posted a link to the University of Ghana bookshop where you can get the hard copy of the book. But if you want the soft copy in case you're outside the country or you feel too lazy to grab a hard copy book to read, just go to Amazon and just buy a soft copy of it. As of now, we have
So
2.6.
Jacqueline, oh, sorry.
Yeah, as of now, we have 2.6 people, 2.6K people listening to the stream as well. So please share, continue to share. We end at 7. We end at 7
Okay.
p.m. Guys. Yeah. So Michelle
Okay. So
Obama, you've been
can I answer him now?
yeah, Ms. Anita, you can speak. So after Ms. Anita is done, Michelle Obama, you speak to us as well.
Okay. So
Oh,
first
the
of
one my
all,
main guys are.
Nana, I don't
Mpacho,
come in. I wait to watch your own. Now
Odiaka,
because.
okay. So
All right.
please your own mental health is priority, your priority. Prioritize yourself first. So the guy that was asking me said, did she consider SAC and all that? I mean, she is first. So, and we should know that generally, as human beings, we have this innate selfishness in us. So prioritize yourself first. The only thing Sarkodie can do now, considering his mental state, is go in for therapy. You see, our part here, some things, no, it doesn't really function well. But I'm sure, I mean, I don't really have much info, but maybe she had a team. Normally, a book like this or a memoir like this, there will be a team, a psychologist who would maybe, in case there's anything she could talk to, there will have been a team to think about all these questions we are asking. And, we don't really know, maybe this has happened or it will happen. But the only solution SAC has is to go in for therapy and even marital counseling with the wife if there's going to be any problem, because definitely there's a dent and there will be some little thing, issues. Then aside that, I think someone mentioned, say, I've forgotten what he said, but it was related to Sarkodie being prominent. It was the person was referring to, say, like, if assuming Sack was poor, would she have mentioned the name? Or if, as it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because most times people feel that women want to pull down men, and that is why they mention such names when things like this happen. No, but if you were not involved, would your name be mentioned? Your name wouldn't have been mentioned. So don't think, say, it's because the person is rich or the person is, no. Please don't let us even go on that angle. I beg you, please. Please and please.
All right, Atukwame, now you've been on for a while. Atukwame, now share your opinion with us.
All right, so thank you, TV3. I think this is a very big platform. It's a big platform, and I'm glad to speak on this. I mean, on this particular subject, I think what we are discussing here has to do with someone writing a book. So, are we going to question someone's imagination, thoughts, real life experience, and then judge the person by this perspective? What she's putting down is about her life, and like Jacqueline just said, this is what she wants people to relate to. Use that as a yardstick to consider actions, attitude, behaviors. I mean, it's like a line, towing a line where it advises you on what to do, what not to do. When you get to that junction from where she has written about. So, before I think she sat down to write this book, lawyers might have spoken to her about it, family, publishers, and a whole lot of people might have come in contact with her before she put up this book. So, look, cognitive psychology has gone in here massively. I don't think she just stood up and decided to write a book. She sat down, analyzed her life critically from all angles before writing a book. I mean, people being judgmental is too bad. Sarkodie impregnating her and she aborting, or the two of them coming to an agreement and aborting. I mean, what are the tales and truth in this book that correlates to life? That is actually turning people's life around. I mean, prostitutes become good people at the end of the day. Thieves also become good people at the end of the day. And good people sometimes become bad people. It's a subject that cannot be discussed and finished. So it's a book. How are we judging this person by what she did in her past? I mean, for me, it doesn't go down very well for me. And whatever everybody is saying is good, yeah. But look, if
Oh,
she didn't decide to write this
oh,
book, I don't think we'll be having this conversation in the first place. So this is a choice by herself. This is what she decided to do in this time of her life. She dedicated probably another 16 years or 15 years or 10 years or 3 years to this book. How are we not encouraging her? How are we not congratulating her? Why are we not, I mean, bringing people to analyze this book, not by judgment? Hearing all the advices coming from all different angles, they are good. Yeah, I agree with most things. I mean, it's good to have subjective ideas on stuff and then pronounce certain judgments or certain comments. That's fair. But I think we need to encourage Yvonne to bring us a next book. That tells us that she's going to bring out movies out of these books where we are going to go into Oscars. I mean, win awards with books like this, not by judgment. I don't know if my point is well made, but let's analyze this book to the level where we will know that it will break Guinness Book records. This is what we need to be looking at, not the negative aspects of the book. It's becoming too judgmental. It's just becoming too judgmental. Divorce, whatever. We are not we are not supposed to be judging the book at that angles. Whatever other family members feel about it, they should go and deal with it. I mean, this is 10 years ago. Her life story 10 years ago. So if I'm telling my wife I impregnated somebody 10 years ago and then the person aborted it and now my wife is going to cry over this, I mean, that's too childish. This is how I see it. Let's commend Yvonne for writing this book, bringing it down to her life. This is true life story. If she's looking for fame, she's famous already. She's not looking for fame. If she's going to bring a movie out of this and win an Oscar, I think I will encourage her. I'm looking forward for us, for Yvonne in a more analytical stage on a very big platform, telling us the next move with this book and where we are taking it to the next level and becoming much bigger and changing people's life with the stories. When you go to Oscars and you go and read the plagues and stuff and the things that I mean comes from books that have gone into movies and stuff and making people break, I think that's what we need to be looking at. This is the kind of trend we need to be moving and not the judgmental part of things. I think that's my take on this. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Ato Pamela. You've spoken at length. Guys, let's acknowledge the fact that Dr. George Anagli has joined us. Before Michelle speaks, let me go straight to Doctor. And we've had other pharmacists speak about abortion, its risks. But Dr. Anagli, can you educate us on some of the safety measures we can take aside putting on condoms? What are some of the safety measures we can take during this period?
Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. George. So, yeah, I've been following for some time now. A lot of contributions, a lot of submissions, that's fine. So, safety methods to take with times like this, aside condoms, right? So, you want to, so it means we are talking about contraception, right? So, in the book, I've not read it, but I've seen excerpts from people on the timeline, and then maybe sometime I'll read it. But apart from the condoms, we have other various methods of contraception that one can do, right? We have the implants, that hormonal implants that you can go for. We have the female condoms. We have that is not well appreciated because I know a few ladies who have reacted to it, or I know a few people who say that it's not comfortable, right? But then we have implants
At all.
we have implants that you can go for. You have IUDs that you can use, right? IUDs that you can as well use, right? So there are various ways apart from just, we even have the the pills that you can use. I'm not talking about just the emergency pills, but we have one that you can go for daily that as well protects you from getting pregnant. In this case, I would want us to focus more. I'm not so interested in who is right or who is wrong whether Yvonne Nelson is right, whether Sark is right. Or I'm not interested in that, but I'm much more interested in what we can learn from something like this, or the ways or things that we can educate people on. So when you see the book, you realize that she talked about the fact that she was naive. She was 25 years. Sark was 22. She was naive. She didn't know what safe periods are, what things about menstrual cycle, right? So this is a very good opportunity for us all to learn about things like this. If you're a lady, you learn. Even guys, right? I know guys that know a lot about, or I've taught guys, right? If I get the opportunity to meet guys young, I mean my age mates and even young guys, I try to educate them with regards to things like that. What is safe period? What is ovulation period? What should I do when it comes to that? What don't do I not? What should I not do in times like that, right? So this is an opportunity for us to learn. And she also mentioned something about it's a taboo mentioning things like penis in African homes, right? So this is also a problem that we should also note, because let's we are I believe there are some parents here. I believe there are parents here, so this is something we should learn.
Yes,
Yes,
sure.
this is something we should learn. Let's be open. Let's be open with our kids, right? Let's be open with our female and male children, right? Penis is not anything. They should mention. Talk with them. I mean, they are of age, 18 years, 19 years. You can't even sit. People can't even sit with their dad and talk about, I have a boyfriend or I have a girlfriend. They will chastise you. You understand? So this is something we should learn. And the final bits will be about the abortion thing, the notion that Ghanaians have when it comes to abortion. This whole thing is blowing up because there's some abortion somewhere. This is the fact. It's blowing up because there's abortion somewhere, right? Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that these are 25 and 22-year olds who are being sexually active as at that time, right? So abortion. Let's not concentrate on that so much. And even I would want to also use this opportunity to as well educate as well that there are circumstances. Please, can you hear me? I don't know. It's raining here, so
Can
I'm
yes, we
scared.
can
Yes.
hear
Yes,
you.
we
Yeah,
can
We
hear
can
you.
hear
it's
you.
raining here, so I'm scared. All right, so
Yeah, we can
all
hear
right,
you.
fine. So there are instances or circumstances under which abortion is generally illegal in Ghana, right? But there are instances under which you can go for an abortion. That I would want to mention some so that we can all learn, right? So the first one being, this is according to our laws, right? Criminal Code 190 at 29 of our Ghanaian Act, right? So the first thing being that in cases where the pregnancy is as a result of rape or defilement of mentally ill woman or incest, right? And the second one being when the pregnancy or when the continuation of the pregnancy poses a risk to the woman's health, right? And then the third one being if there is a high risk of malformation or severe illnesses for the child after birth. So these are instances under which one can commit abortion. And so let's not just we hear the word abortion and then we just start chastising the person or judging the person. It's a
Mm,
very wrong thing to do.
right,
Let's all
right,
learn. This
right.
is an opportunity for us to
Yeah,
learn.
Jacqueline, sorry, can I
Okay,
add on that?
okay, Miss.
All right.
Yeah, please and please, since Doc has mentioned it, let me conclude on that. Please and please, ladies, go for proper family planning. Not, I don't want to spoil anyone's brand, but not the normal ones you pop in the mornings. Every weekend when you go to your boyfriend's place, you pop on Friday night, Saturday morning, Saturday night, Sunday. You are harming yourself. If you know you are sexually active, please go for proper family planning.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And the another thing is most just I think I mentioned it before. A lot of us are scared of pregnancy than HIV. And please, we have to stop. There are other methods of family planning, just like Doc said, but condoms would be good for you, especially if this is something that we don't do. That one I'm very sure of. when two people want to start dating, like for me, let me use myself so that I don't mention anybody. When a guy talks to me and I'm like, my conditions are, I take you to a facility, or I send you there and you take the test. Facilities I know I can trust. I have like 3 men now who have said no. I'm telling you now. Actually, 2 are even talking marriage. But when I mentioned that, they said no. I said, then that is it. I can't even date you. So please, it is something that is common. So we don't even test. You don't know the blood group of the other person. You don't know their HIV status. So your best bet is condom. I beg you. Herpes and other infections you will get. Actually. So please, let's be careful.
Right.
Doc,
Thank
or
you
I
so
didn't say
much.
it well, George.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. You
Yeah,
said it perfectly.
you said
Yes.
it. You said it very, very well.
Thank you so much, Madam Anita Asamoah and Dr. George Anagli as well.
Let me
Bye.
add something quickly, very, very, very quickly. So
Mm,
yes, today is World Sickle Cell Day, right? So as we are talking
Mm.
about, let me just add it quickly. So please, before you say anything, if you look at my timeline, I've actually tweeted about it. So before you say any yes to any guy or any female, kindly know that kindly know your genotype, because we don't want a
Yeah,
situation where you give birth to kids that are sickle cell patients, right?
exactly.
It's
Love
actually
doesn't conquer sickle cell, please.
so let's just
Uh-huh.
do that. Thank
And
you very much.
don't think that no, they say that it is one of the children that will have sickle cell. No, it is not calculated that way. So make a doctor calculate for you, or maybe if you inbox me I could, but it is not as if maybe when you have 4 kids, or maybe it's only one. No, you don't calculate that way. At every pregnancy there's a chance that it could be a sickler. So let's be careful.
right. Thank you guys so much. Now, Michelle Obama will speak. Then we pick Miriam Al Hassan as well. Then we're about wrapping up with that. We said we're ending at 7, so we'll try as much as possible to be in our
If
time or
Jacqueline
within
and
our time, because
if we
we've
do
spoken
that,
for 2.5 hours. So Michelle, if Michelle, your microphone is on, Michelle,
Thank,
you can speak. Yes.
thank you so much. I know I came on earlier, but I had just wanted to add to everything that when I first saw the book, like the title really caught my attention, and I wish that sometimes um most Ghanaians will not jump to so much conclusion, because again, for the past 2.5 hours, I think like almost 1/3 of, I mean 2/3 of the conversation has gone towards this topic of abortion, and that shows how much um ignorance there is to the topic. So it's really good that we have 2 people in the medical field on here speaking. But she did point out something in the book about, when she learnt about sex, and about how the only thing she knew was that her mom told her that if she did something, then she would put ginger and pepper in her vagina. And I think this thing is a very common culture thing, and I've actually not myself experienced it, but I know people who have gone through that, because a lot of the older generation, I don't know why they don't feel comfortable talking about sex, but it's like a lot of people in Ghana experience sex in the wrong way. Like they don't learn sex, like, okay, here, this is what sex is, this is what the parts of the body is. Like even children, like when you just mentioned that, like they feel shy, and like that's a big problem, because honestly this same book in another country will not spark, this is not the type of conversation we're going to be having. We're going to be having more higher level conversations to bring out topics and things that we can educate the masses on, like how the medical people are speaking on, get tested, do this, do that. Like that's what's important. Like so many people go through abortions in Ghana because maybe their boyfriends told them to do it, or maybe because their family know that, oh nah, this is going to be a bad thing or a bad look to the family, so do this. And that's why I think the lady asked, Madam Anita, you asked the question that what we are afraid of pregnancy. Yes, because we're ignorant about it, and whenever it happens, we only know that it can only happen in the context of marriage. For most places in Ghana, it's like, oh, even when someone impregnates you, it's like it's forced. Like families will go talk and go like, hey, you have to marry this person, because it looks like it's a shame. But meanwhile, we're not going to the root of the problem and seeing what the issue is. Why are there so many pregnancies? Why are there so many wrongful abortions going on? Like literally, some bad medical people are even selling medication on the side, medication that they're not supposed to give people outside to go and have an abortion. Like, it's being sold on the black market. So like there's so much to talk about, and it's just so sad. And again, like, I really love the book, and I think that is amazing, and congratulations to her again. Thank you.
Right. So Yvonne Nelson's book has opened up a conversation on a lot of topics, including the abortion part that we said. And there are other angles as well. So this goes on to
Paternity,
say
let's
that,
not forget paternity, the angle with paternity and
yes,
DNA testing and all of that.
yes. So what Miriam's hands up. Miriam Al Hassan, you take
Yeah.
the last word before we wrap up. I see Nkrumah raising his hands as well, Nkrumah Jr. But Miriam, you speak first.
Okay. So, so my question is, did I'll always ask people, did you read the book? Because there's a lot more inside the book, just much more than the whole Sarkodie's chapter. She name drops a lot of people actually, so it's not even about Sarkodie, but the undertones of it will tell you that trauma. However it is, however small we view it, however little it is, childhood trauma piles up into adulthood and then causes these kind of problems. So she's not only highlighting just an abortion and blah blah. I don't know why Ghanaians are so repulsive when abortion, anytime abortion comes up. But the book entails a lot more than just that. Because I'd say this: if she was considering anyone's feelings, then she should be considering her mother's feelings too. Because her mom was not spared. When you read the book, if you've actually read the book, you
Actually,
know
no
that
one was spared in the book.
no
So,
one was spared
yeah, she
at
spoke about the dad.
all.
She spoke about her relationship. She even spoke about the current ruling party, the New Patriotic Party, offering
Exactly.
her a seat as a member of parliament in 2020 with,
Exactly.
under the
So I
ticket
don't
of.
know why people are dwelling on the abortion. There's a lot of education from that aspect. I'm a medical person. I heard my people talk about the bits, and then they captured virtually everything with that. And it's good that it has sparked these kind of conversations and all that. So the book, no, I was spared. So let's not, because someone is our favorite or whatever, let's not dwell so much on that aspect. But my takeaway from all this is that every girl needs her dad. That's all I would say. Every girl needs her dad.
Right,
Because yeah.
right. So speaking about Miriam, you raised this. So speaking about no one was spared. The chapter 11 of I Am Not Even Nelson is
Mm-hmm.
talks about Doomsor must stop and Ekufuado's
Mm-hmm.
call and offer to
And
contest
how
on it.
they offer the
Yes. So let me read an excerpt of it, which says, prior to the 2020 polls, an influential man in the Ekufuado circles came to see me and proposed to sponsor me to contest the Ayawaso West Wuogon parliamentary seat on the ticket of the NPP. You guys remember that John Dumelo did that
John
and
Dumelo, yeah, that's his
yeah, John Dumelo did
constituency.
that first as well. So the last paragraph of the chapter 11 says that constituency is a stronghold of the NPP. The main reason John Dumelo lost, despite his popularity and stardom. And Yvonne goes on to say, if I had contested, my chances of winning would have been high. But I do
Mm-hmm.
not regret rejecting the offer. I had accepted that offer. Had I accepted that offer, I wouldn't be different from the politicians and their politics of uh, convenience, which I so much detested. So, guys, let me throw out a general question out there. We can continue this conversation outside this space. Do you think the New Patriotic Party, with what Yvonne is saying in her book, they were trying to kind of mute her or put
Of course now.
yes, mute
Of
her. You
course.
remember 2015 with the Doomsor
Yeah.
Vigil, Doomsor must
Of
stop.
course. It
Do
was
you think the
creating
New Patriotic
problems for
Party was trying
them.
to do that?
It was creating problems for them, obviously, because she also stated somewhere that that is how powerful entertainers can be. For them to have put there in that manner, it meant that she was kind of disturbing them in a way with her noise about doing some stop and all that.
So, and then finally, when she got to the part where she apologized to Mr. Nelson, she said because of the things her mother told her about that man, so it's about a woman who has been impregnated, doesn't really know who the father of her child. She chooses not to say who the father of her child is, and then keeps on. Our normal Ghanaian mothers, what they do. When your father is not in your life, they constantly will remind you. And even she herself was a mistake. That was what she claims her mom constantly told her, that I was going to abort you and the doctor didn't do it, and that is why you are alive. So, like, there's a lot of and then after a DNA test with a beta allergitis children and whatnot have you, and then still finding out that he was not her father after she was told when she was 30 years, she still approached her mother and said, would you tell me who my dad is? With approaching her with Bible quotations, and or maybe this time around she'll fear God and then really tell her who her dad was. And the woman still didn't say it. So when you read that chapter, it's saying she's actually appealing that if you know you are a dad, there are certain aspects of her life that, like, there are questions in her life that she feels like knowing her dad would actually, like, help her answer those questions.
Right,
So,
right. Thank you
yeah.
so much, William. So let's wrap up the whole conversation.
I wanted to wrap up with, based on what she said, with the
Mm-hmm.
last two paragraphs in her book, so that anybody that is going to start reading the book know that this is the premise of what she wants to say, so we can conclude on that note. So she said, I could never talk openly about it until I decided to write this book. I have run and completed some races. In others, I have faltered and crashed. All of that has shaped me and made me the woman I am. I intend to show those who look up to me the scars of my falls, with the hope that they may avoid the landmines that nearly ended my life. But above all, the main reason I decided to write this book precedes my birth. I have searched in all the possible places for answers but failed. So I am telling this story with the hope that I will find answers that will stop the tears that only my pillow can adequately bear witness to. I am telling my story to discover myself. So please, let's read Yvonne Nelson's story. Let's not dissect it how we want to dissect it, and let's share her story and pick lessons out of them as she wants us to.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline. Code Mickey, we know you're listening. We've extended a speaker's microphone to you.
Thank you
Code
very
Mickey
much,
has
Jacqueline. And I think
has
that's a
stepped
good note
in.
to end on.
Yes.
Because if you don't know Yvonne Nelson, or even if you know Yvonne Nelson at all, when you read the book, you will end up seeing her in a totally new light, and maybe even understand some of her actions as to how she handles some things in her life. Go on.
Right. Thank you guys so much for joining us.